Let your man go, huh?
Drop it, I don't want to talk about it.
Drop it, hell. I want to hear about this, homie.
I said forget about it, cuz.
Brett, Mr. Hitman. I've been smoking crack for weeks.
Yo, Dom, why'd you bring the Buster here?
Cause the Buster kept me out of handcuffs.
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
Relax. Don't push it. You embarrass me.
Banks versus Davis. We're back. Real quick, shout out to Brian H. Waters of Wrestling Realm. He had both of us on last week to talk about AEW All Out 2021. Shout out to him. Also, shout out to our guy Graham and YR Goldmine of The Sheep Show. They had me on, and Banks was on there previously. So go and support those two shows. Great people, phenomenal shows. Shouts to them.
Absolutely. Shouts out to the guys, Brian H. Waters. Once again, check out Wrestle Ram. Make sure you donate to I think it's called Coffee. I'll put the link up, but $5.
Yeah,
just
like
to
buy my
support the
coffee
podcast.
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Buy
can
me
you can do
coffee.
less than $5, but man, just put $5 in. Shouts out Graham, Two Black Sheep, and shouts out Public Enemies as usual.
Yeah. But this week we're back. We've been kind of teasing on at the BBD pod on Twitter some subtle hints of some film clips that have to do with this week's episode topic. And that is 90s movies. It's something I think we've been trying to kind of do in a while because off air, Banks and I have conversations about a lot of the same movies that either we've kind of talked about before or haven't. And the main one was Bad Boys, not the Sean Penn, S.A. Morales one from, I think, the late 80s. 1995, The Bad Boys, Will Smith, Martin Lawrence. We'll get to that in a minute, but that led into an overall discussion about 90s movies in general because, Banks, you're born 89, correct? Not to put your information out like that, but you got to grow up watching these movies.
I don't give a damn. They could know my year I was born, 88.
88, okay. I made you younger.
I mean, I feel younger. I look younger, minus my hairline, so I ain't tripping.
Hey, compared to some people who are bald and refuse to go home, as you called out.
Hey, man, you got to go home. Like some dweeb on Twitter yesterday, you got to go home.
That's what I'm
It's just
referring
a
to.
meme.
Shouts to Rock for
You got
being there
damn
for the
fish.
violence. Had the popcorn like,
Right, I wanted to keep going, but I was like, man, I ain't got time for this.
yeah,
I don't got time for
But,
bots, bro. I can't see you, so I can't say it to your face like I want to.
exactly. Yeah, that's the thing on Twitter is like I don't fuck with in terms of following or like I'll mute accounts that are just like stan accounts or like this page is supposed to be blank blank blank, and I ain't trying to fuck with fan accounts or bots. Like show yourself or show me that you're a real person at least.
Yo, the Naomi ones and the Sasha Banks one, it's some sick people behind them motherfuckers, bro.
I
On the
could
same
understand
things.
it. But so yeah, Banks got to actually grow up with these movies. I kind of did. I'm born in 95. But Banks is in the moment I'm in hindsight, growing up with already it being halfway done. And Banks, would you say this is probably the best decade of movies? That you've been able to
I
witness.
feel like-
So 90s, aughts, 2010s, and now we're going to be entering the 2020s. Out of all the ones you've been able to live through, is this the best decade of movies?
For the nostalgia factor, yeah. Just simply based upon the studios, like probably a lot of them being coke addicts. And then it's just like, yo, just give them the money. Whatever they want to make, give them the money. Like the Wild Wild West should not exist.
No, that made sense because Will Smith did Men in Black. So they're like, all right, let's try to recreate that with different IP. That's not as much coke as like, all right, this Will Smith makes a lot of money with anything. Like Men in Black was a popular like what graphic novel, right? Or comic series.
It was
and
a
then
comic. Yeah.
yeah. But so yeah, Wild Wild West was like a '60s TV show, I think.
And they just
And then
made
they
it
were
weird.
like, I think it was always weird, but it's the same guy. It's Barry Sonnenfeld who directed it. They reteamed. They just they just swapped out Tommy Lee Jones for Kevin Kline, which I mean, I like both Kevin Kline and Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, I don't know when the last time I seen that movie. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it anytime soon.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while, but either way. But yeah, like you said, the studios, one in particular, I think that dominated it, and I think anyone who listening will know is New Line Cinema. One of the most iconic opening like credits is like the film strips falling into place, be like, dun, and it's like New Line Cinema, which is like Mortal Kombat. I have the list right here. So here's when they started really taking it up a notch in the 90s. And I always remember it being on like Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Damn it, the link's not working. Okay. So they started off with House
New
Party.
Line is just trafficking money.
Yeah. House Party in 1990. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in 1990 as well. That's in the same month. And later on, they go on to have King of New York later in the year. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze. House Party 2. Then we got Glengarry and Ross, which has an iconic scene. I haven't seen I've just seen the scene. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, which is terrible when they go back to Japan.
It was all right.
Menace to Society. Surf Ninjas. What else we got? House Party 3. Above the Rim, classic. The Mask, that's Jim Carrey's The Mask. Dumb and Dumber. Even though I'm not really a fan of that movie, but Friday, Mortal Kombat. 7, David Fincher's second film, but Rumble in the Bronx, one of Jackie Chan's kind of like big U.S. showings, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was the first movie I seen him in.
And also we got Long Kiss Goodnight. That's Shane Black. Shane Black's script, because he was a big deal with Lethal Weapon. Then we got Spawn in 97, Boogie Nights 97 as well, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, The Wedding Singer. Kind of an underrated, one of like I'd say the good Adam Sandler movies, because 90s Adam Sandler was pretty good. After 2000s, it's like with him. Blade.
You didn't like
again.
Mr. Deeds?
Nah, and I've only really seen it once. I don't like Mr. Deeds.
It was all right. Shorty that Johnny Depp was simping for.
Oh, Winona Ryder.
She was in the movie.
Winona Ryder. I always say her voice in the South Park, the movie way. So Blade in August of 98, then Rush Hour in September 98. What kind of back-to-back month is that? Again, like they had House Party and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the same month, but then 8 years later they have Blade and Rush Hour. And then American History X, also in 98. Austin Powers 2 in 99. Yeah. And they end the year with Magnolia, which is another Paul Thomas Anderson movie. New Line Cinema, giving a lot of voice to diverse movies as well. House Party, Friday, Menace to Society, Above the Rim, which I'd say the equivalent to that now would be A24 in a modern sense. We see that with like Moonlight, Euphoria, a bunch of Hereditary, and Zola, which came out earlier this year. But New Line Cinema, I'd say, was probably I'd say they're they're probably in the same realm. Like they make $20 to $30 million movies that will end up making more. They're not quite Blumhouse in terms of the smaller budget, which will make a shit ton. But yeah, I always just, like I said, iconic opening credits, that and the MGM Grant and the MGM Studios Lion Roar, or the Sony Pictures Columbia with the Pegasus or the woman. But so do you want to talk about why Bad Boys is the best movie of the 90s?
Absolutely. Now I'm looking at my list like, damn, I don't have the Ninja Turtles on there.
We'll
Too
get to
much
honorable
that came out
mentions.
in the 90s.
Yeah, that's it. There's just so much to talk about. We'll each do 10 of our favorites. Again, not ranked, just 10 movies we picked as our favorites from this era, and then we'll do honorable mentions towards the end because we're probably gonna have hundreds of ones that we'll unfortunately won't be able to list why, but we'll do a lightning round with that. But Bad Boys, I think, is the one that you and I kind of agree on the most as the best of this period.
Absolutely. I mean, from the beginning, it set the tone for the movie. You got Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. We already know Martin Lawrence has been talking shit forever, but then you got Will Smith up here cussing, wilding out. And you know what I mean? He was on the TV show being a playboy, his music and all that, but him just like full with it in Miami, like swagged out. So it was like him. It's just like wrestling. You work hard to 10. You just take it to 10. So essentially that's what he did. He just said,
Mike Lowry is NC-17 Will from Fresh Prince.
That's what it was. I feel like The Rock probably got that from Mike Lowry.
We'll get to that. I mean, in a little bit, because I always say like, "I'm Mike Lowry." Put your gun put your badge to the door. I said, "I'm Mike Lowry." Just the way he has to say it.
And he kept saying, "I want to be like Mike."
Yeah, I want to be like Mike. When he wears his shirt, might as well dress like him.
Is that my shirt?
Yeah, and you can tell because again, this is really kind of the big showcase for both of them is Leading Men, and like this is Martin Lawrence. Martin had been going on, but like I think this is big starring film role. Like him, he has top billing over Will Smith. Crazy enough. And then Will Smith as well.
Because he had the show at that point.
Yeah,
he had his own
again,
show.
Will Smith had Fresh Prince, and I think Independence Day is 96. Correct, as we talked about last week.
Yeah.
Shit, my bad. So they're kind of on level playing fields at the time. Martin Lawrence being a big stand-up comedian as well, and Will Smith being, the Fresh Prince, But they kind of play it. You can tell that this movie was written for two white guys that then they ended up casting Martin Lawrence and Will Smith and shifted it to them, like how they would do it. Because it's kind of a simple plot. But I think it has two credit screenwriters in terms of like it was probably one person's script. Then once they announced who was going to act in it, they rewrote it to tailor it to them. But like you said, it opens up with the Porsche. They're going to get robbed. He's like, how you pay this much for a Porsche with no cup holders? They get robbed because he's staring at some ass. There you go. Always not paying attention, looking at some ass and shit. And then the guys try to rob, like, oh hell no. Like probably how else would you start off a movie like that?
Right. And it showed the chemistry off the back. Like, see, you always causing trouble. You always bringing some shit. And they was arguing, but that was a distraction. And then we see throughout the film franchise, that's usually how it works for them to get out the situation. They argue amongst each other. It's like the old buddy cop shit. Yeah.
It's probably the best buddy cop because they're supposed to have gone to school together and grown up together. Lethal Weapon, it's a guy who's on the verge of retirement with the crazy guy. Every other buddy cop, it's a guy who's a cop and a guy who's not the cop. 48 Hours, The Last Boy Scout, etc. That dynamic. Midnight Run, same thing. It's a guy who's an ex-cop, now a bounty hunter, and the criminal. But this is like the real buddy cop. It's like two cops working together who actually like each other.
Absolutely. And that's why it works out. Like he talks about how they've been friends forever, how they go through they just set it the pace for everything. Then they talk about how they went through the academy. And then when we to the second one, even though that's in the 2000s and eventually we probably do 2000 movies, he talking about I'm getting too old for this shit. Basically, that's what he say. Marcus basically said.
And then the third one is like, I'm definitely way too old for that. I'm not too old for this bag.
At all. And then I mean, he got a grandchild too. So
I still I haven't seen the third one. We might have to do a watch along with me seeing the third one. I haven't seen it. We might have to do that live as I'm watching it.
You have to, just because that movie shouldn't have won an Oscar. It was that
All
is
I-
Sonic. They were the last two movies in theaters.
All I know is shouts to Chris Ann of the Black Announce Table. You and her talked about it briefly on the Best of 2020 last year, and she was like, I think you brought up like, how does Mike Lowry have a Hispanic son? How does he have a Latino son that looks nothing like Will Smith, but it's supposed to be his son?
What I just say about The Rock.
Oh, let's not go back there.
See, and then San Andreas.
Mhm.
I mean,
Oh, that's he was with Carla Gugino or Gugino, and they had Alexandra Daddario is their daughter. She has like no hint of Samoan in her at all. But shouts to Alexandra Daddario. Real ones know. Shouts to Josh and Antonio. They would know.
had black in her. Go ahead.
Okay. But yeah, like you said, they're dynamic, and they repeat it over the course. Like when they were in the convenience store, and the guy who would later be an Iron Man, who would be Jensen, is like, motherfucker, and then he's like, they like see, oh no, he didn't. And they both pull the guns out, and they're like, give me that pack of juicy bubblicious and some Skittles.
And if I'm not mistaken,
cops.
that part was in the first trailer. That was like the
is that
first
how they
trailer,
sold
the
it?
teaser. I think so. If I'm not mistaken, that was in the teaser. And then it was like, the old 90s Bad Boys. Coming
it's
soon.
like-
It was kind of like
Yeah. And where you're like, oh shit, and your grandma heard you say oh shit and was like, thanks.
Yes, exactly. Except for she said my first name that I hate.
I say she called you the other name, the shoot name.
Exactly. Yeah, somebody called me by my shoot name the other day, bro. I was livid.
Wow, I'm trying to think. It was someone who would have to know you though. That's why.
Of course,
No one
if
in
it
our
was somebody
world.
that didn't know me,
Someone in your world. Yeah.
No. If it was somebody that we just look, no. I would have definitely be like, bro, you got to call me because now I got a lot of questions because you just being disrespectful and you sound like the feds. But no, it's only 4 people in life that can call me by my first.
What was it John Cena called you by your first name?
I'm gonna start crying like a bitch.
But yeah,
Thank you,
I
Mr.
remember.
Cena.
I remember my mom showed me Bad Boys. I probably had to have been 11, between 10 or 11 for sure. Between her and my dad, they showed me a lot of like their favorites, and my mom would always like kind of censor me with movies. She'd be like, "Cover your ears" or "Cover your eyes," or like fast forward through scenes. And again, Bad Boys kind of has some stuff like that, but not really. But yeah, I just remember like this movie's amazing, and yeah, the VHS tape again. It's Martin Lawrence, and Will Smith on the cover with Taya Leone, which is like but okay, she's there.
Hey man, I swear to God, she look exactly like Nicolas Cage.
She used to be married to David Duchovny of the X-Files, right?
That sounds like a weird ass relationship, but yes, I remember that.
But yeah, I mean, it's got some of my other favorite scenes again, like the "That's how you drive." From now on, that's how you drive. And he's like reading the rights as he's driving. What are you doing? Getting it out of the way.
Right, even though the person has to hear it still.
Yeah. Well, they end up shooting him in cold blood, so it doesn't matter, even though he fires at them, but still.
That's Florida. Of course that's gonna happen.
Great 6-man performance by Joey Pantaleone as the captain. You won't see your wife for a month. Go to her now. I'm supposed to leave. No, go to her. You could be Mike. Garden. He doesn't sound like that.
Just stressed out throughout the whole movie. Well, the first 3 movies you'll see. The third one, not so much, but
I think,
especially 2, the Wusa,
yeah. When they put up the, I think he just has a wig on in 2 and 3, because I think in the first one he's got what he has left, but he's kind of bald, or was balding throughout most of his career. If you've seen him in like The Goonies, The Matrix, which we'll talk about a little bit later, he's again completely bald in that. But again, has the villain goatee, which is so obvious. Like, hey, I'm the villain. Look at this facial hair. Like,
that was the whole go-to. Didn't what's name have that same look in Speed? Who's the villain in Speed? What's his shoot name?
Dennis Hopper?
Dennis Hopper?
No, he
Yeah,
just looked
didn't
like
he
Dennis
have-
Hopper. Like that. No, he just looked like old. He just looked like Dennis Hopper at that time. Not no goatee, nothing. He
Right.
just looked like Dennis Hopper. Like, yeah. Later on in his life, he had the weird goatee where it's like, yeah, you definitely look like you did peyote 24/7 in the 70s.
Yeah, like his eyes used to always be big as fuck. Like towards the
Yeah.
end of his life, like bro, I have a secret to tell. Ass eyes.
Yeah, basically, or like I've seen shit and I can't unsee it. It's also probably got one of the all-time cameos by one John Sally. Funny enough, they had to get someone from the Bad Boys to be in Bad Boys. That synergy.
Good booking.
And he's playing a hacker of all things.
Because I think that's around the time John Sally was actually trying to act. I think he was like reoccurring on In the House, if I'm not mistaken, or he was just like a day player on there. He was on a couple shows just showing up randomly. But it's like, dude, you fucking 6'9".
That's the thing. It's like he actually has like Rick Fox. Like they have a good look. They can deliver lines well. They have timing and like charisma. Like you are 8 feet taller than everyone else on set. Like it's like our thing with John Cena in like a normal movie. Like John Cena in Trainwreck, he is 4 times the size of Amy Schumer. Like no one would buy him and her going out.
Dog, on Vacation Friends, I'm like, yo, this is insane.
Yeah, which we'll get to in a few weeks when we do the summer of that John Cena had. Him and Laurel, it's like this man's the size of a mountain and this man's the size of a go-kart.
And Laurel said he actually was marking out. It was like his agent brought him the movie. We'll talk about it. His agent brought him the idea for the movie. He was like, oh, John Cena in it? Sign me up ASAP. I said, damn, he's just like me. And that leads to one of my favorite scenes, like sit your big ass down, which somehow again Marcus Burnett has to like talk shit to everyone that's bigger than him because Martin Lawrence is like a few inches taller than me, but still. And he's doing when he's in the gym with Max, he's doing like the whole boxing training and trying to lift. That's me in the gym. That's me like. But legit, everything Martin has been in, he always has like shadow box. And then you see him on stage, shadow
well, like
boxing.
he said, I used to box. Yeah, there's like great stand up, which again, the OGs at Black Wrestling pointed me towards the Tucson, Arizona. Coming home. See, I get the best jab in the business. No one's gonna. I'm gonna knock him out. What happened was the jab didn't work. And no, see that's their dynamic.
Golden Gloves boxer back in the day.
And see, that's in like their dynamic works because Martin Lawrence is so not over the top, but his comedy is so great. And like Will Smith is supposed to no sell it again with the whole like you and I quoted to each other a lot this past week was, and it'll be the title of this episode, as you'll see, when they're driving on the bridge. It's like, I fucking hate you. You know what? I'll drive this car off the bridge. And look at us, 2 dead bitches in the sea, which my mom will love that line as well. And then right after, I love you, man. Shut the fuck up, Marcus. Nah, I mean that shit. I love you. Shut up. Just drive. And then Bad Boys, bad.
That's what's so great about it, bro. It was like they act like brothers for real. Like they always arguing all the
with
damn
that
time.
Like that's what chemistry looks like. Watch that movie. You want to see chemistry. Whether they could have real heat or not, like what took so long between the first and the second, and what really took so long between the second and the third. Because even in the second, Martin Lawrence still has top billing, but he had done Big Mama's House. So he was still a big star as well, but Will Smith had already done Independence Day, Men in Black, Wild Wild West, Ali. But still, Will Smith probably felt like, you know what, he was the star of the first one. Let him be the star. Let him have top billing again, because it's like, might as well.
Yeah, you do that when that's your man, so you could tell that was his man. Otherwise than that, it would have been Will Smith and Martin Lawrence if that wasn't his man.
Yeah. But the thing we're also sleeping on, this is a Michael Bay film.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see how it sets the tone for the rest of his career. With Miami, which he runs back in Pain and Gain. the cinematography, the flashiness of it, again, like the sex appeal of the men and the women. Because again, he said like Will Smith, like take that fucking shirt off, and Will Smith's like I don't want to. And Michael Bay's like take the fucking shirt off. I want to see you running and your pecs bouncing up, which Will Smith and Martin Lawrence talked about on the shop. And Michael Bay, he's like Martin Lawrence like Michael Bay, he was on some serious shit, and Will Smith's like I don't want to do it. Michael Bay's like, see, that's why I just made you a fucking movie star, like.
But you need coaches like that.
Legit.
Yeah.
Like, it's funny. He uses. I wonder what Brett Ratner, even though he's a disgusting piece of shit as a human being, was saying to Chris Tucker during Rush Hour and then later Money Talks. I think he was saying like, I found a star in this guy, and I'm going to be able to get everything out of him, which is keep the camera rolling and focus on him. But again, Michael Bay and his. Again, a machismo style of filmmaking was like, I like look at this guy. He's tall, handsome, charisma. You believe it that he can kick someone's ass. And he's like, yeah, just like no, like it has to be believable. Like right now, you're running after the car, the shirt's open, And then Will Smith's like, dude, I'm the guy who's like, ruff, 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 when a woman walks by on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Which is like, imagine doing that.
I got that clip too.
Imagine doing that to a woman in real life, and you not like having AirPods in your ear, like, oh no, it's a DMX song. I apologize, sorry.
I am hiding my face in shame because I have done that before.
But
I've done it.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing, it's phenomenal. When he's following the shoe in Club Hell and the woman's like, and he's on some Quentin Tarantino shit. Then, like, after Marcus is getting choked out with the paper,
I want to be like Mike.
No, everybody wants to be again. I mean, Mike Lowry, Michael Jordan, they coincided together. 95 was when Michael Jordan comes back. Maybe Michael Jordan saw Bad Boys like, this man's trying to take my corner. I'm the best Mike.
And he was cool with Will Smith, so probably so.
Yeah. But
imagine Michael Jordan playing Michael Lowry.
I can believe it. Yeah. Except the pants would be atrocious because Mike Lowry actually dressed and looked cool. He legit had drip and swag back then. It was legitimate.
He was dressed like Marcus. That's how Michael Jordan was dressing. With the baggy ass clothes, the little vest.
Legit.
The Latin vest. Again, yeah.
Yeah, his outfits in this movie. But no, legit. It's funny, yeah, because Dwayne Johnson basically dresses like Mike Lowry when he's the cop, and the other guys, the super tight shirt, with the gun, with the holster, with the Steve McQueen holster from Bullet. Yeah. No, I think Dwayne Johnson saw this and was like, I could be Mike Lowry. Yeah.
I think in real life too, bro. Now I'm starting to think, like, has Dwayne Johnson been copying Will Smith whole fucking flow this entire time? Like, that's his second hero. It's his because just look at the patterns. Think about it. You don't have to think about it right now, but think of the patterns.
I see your point because they're both overly positive and energetic, and like nothing gets them down unless it's a real serious issue, which was again Will Smith admitting that he made that horrible movie Collateral Beauty because it was about his father passing, right? Like he made that movie to as a way to express that emotion. But yeah, and they're making the same bad moves, which is like Will Smith always had to be in a sci-fi movie like every 2 years because that was the bag. That's how you're going to be top of Hollywood. And The Rock doing that after Fast Five was any big blockbuster action movie I'm going to do no matter how bad it is, and have like kind of the same look. Will Smith always kind of like dressed the same. He had, but then Will Smith would do something like Hancock where he would be different. The Rock really hasn't done something like that to be too far from himself. And Will Smith would still do serious roles. Again, he was Ali, 7 pounds, concussion. But no, I think there's something there.
Tell the truth.
But see, like, and then go back to the Michael Bay thing. He kind of takes off in the '90s with The Rock. After this, I don't like The Rock as much, but and then ends the year of Armageddon. And we'll kind of maybe get to some of those movies in the speed round, but that was just. But like I said, I think Bad Boys is the top movie of the '90s because it has everything. Like I said, it has a star comedian as its top actor, a star musician as its second best actor, a young rising filmmaker who would have a long, legendary, even though if it's mired in like infamy or like people can take what they like and don't like about Michael Bay, but it was someone who then ended up having a huge career and impact in Hollywood. A lasting impact. I think it's insanely quotable and rewatchable. It hasn't really aged horribly. Again, like people are still trying to make something like this. You can look at like 21 and 22 Jump Street being like Bad Boys, but just with Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. And I think that's like the best remake of that movie you can do with something like that. But again, just like I said, the swag, Miami being its setting. I really don't remember if it has much of a soundtrack. That'd be something in your expertise. Does it have a soundtrack or does Will Smith do a song for this? Was he in that period of doing a song for the movie that he would do in Men in Black and Wild Wild West?
No, the Wild Wild West thing was just because he wanted to do a collab with Cisco because that's a nasty collaboration.
Wild Wild West, I said we.
Cisco was geeked up. If you haven't seen that, all the listeners, if you haven't seen that video in a minute, go back and watch that video because Cisco was off the shits. And it's around the same time as a Thong song. But now the Bad Boy soundtrack, I don't recall any of the songs being good. And we'll also talk about how the 90s movies, the soundtrack was higher. Yeah.
Like I said, I mentioned Above the Rim. That's kind of everyone's go-to for like, look at that movie's soundtrack. It's better than the movie, and the movie's an all-time movie.
Yeah, House Party had a phenomenal soundtrack. The first one. I think Jungle Fever has Stevie Wonder doing a song. The Mulan, Come On, Make a Man Out of You. That's one of my favorite songs ever.
Yeah. We'll get, again, these are some of our favorites. We'll segue into that in our list. Yeah. You kick it off. Again, these are just how we have them listed. No rankings, because it'd be impossible kind of to rank some of these movies. But the 90s, so many different flavors, a variety of style of films and filmmaking as well. Animation takes off. You get different types as well. I mean, with cartoon and computer generated, you get indie films, you get big blockbuster films. But overall, I think you see what happened in the 80s with some of the key, when Star Wars, Indiana Jones, E.T. by the big go-to guys. And then you kind of get the auteurs with, John Hughes with comedy and The Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller, all that. 90s, you get filmmakers who are trying to make a name for themselves and have careers to this day. One-hit wonders, actors dominate. Like Will Smith is someone who dominated the rest of the 90s, but much of the 2000s as well. But like I said, start with the first on your list.
I want you to first tell the audience that you watched House Party for the first time today.
I watched House Party for the first time today. Just the first one. I didn't watch the second one. I thought it was good. I think I've seen this movie before in terms of like I've seen the trope, the basic plot. Project X recreates this. A whole bunch of teen movies recreate this, but it's probably got one of the best scenes in cinema history, which is the dance scene when Kid and Play go up against Shireen and Sydney. That's how that scene is filmed, the choreography, just the atmosphere it creates. And it's also there's some real filmmaking. Original Hudlin would go on to have again a career in Hollywood as well and be a big player like that. But no, I thought it was solid. I did think like Pee-wee with like his voice was just so weird to me. Like no way he could sound like that in real life, but I probably guess he did.
Oh yeah, from Full Force. Does he?
Yeah.
I don't think he sounds like that. His voice ain't deep, but it doesn't sound like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just like no way that could be a real voice. Like, and then we're gonna do this.
fucking yes.
Yeah,
Nah,
legit.
if I recall, because I seen Unsung with Full Force. If you haven't seen Unsung, it's like all like the old 80s shit. I think before that, like R&B groups and shit like that, rap groups. It's like their little biopic that used to be on forgot BET subsidiary
This would
channel.
probably be Where's Buffy territory is where we're going to with this.
Yeah, definitely that. I gotta talk to the old heads too, because yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm kind of going over your head with these references, but yeah, Full Force up. And then with House Party, the soundtrack, like I said a couple minutes ago, phenomenal. I want you to listen to the soundtrack, especially while you tripping on me. It's very 2021-esque. That song could be made now. Of course, they're gonna cuss 100 times, and they probably gonna use a sample from I don't know another R&B song. But now House Party, Different World set the tone of how I particularly have certain taste in women. I'll just say that.
See, or it was crazy. So right after I looked up, I knew Tisha Campbell Martin. I did not know Shireen was the mom from Baby Boy. I was like, God damn, like, wow, because she was looking good then. And then I think I like her and people. I'm like, huh.
Oh, she still looks good because she be working out
now.
And shit.
Okay, I mean,
she looked the same. Pressure, yeah. OG Pressure.
I looked her up. I'm like, who? I was like, what else should she be? And it says Baby Boy. I'm like, no, she ain't the mom of Baby Boy. Then it was like, damn. Yeah, and again,
and that's 10 years after.
Yeah, that's a legit 12 years after. Yeah, 12. But again, Martin Lawrence is in it.
And also, too,
he has probably my second favorite scene when he shouldn't.
I want to talk.
Putting the shit in the trunk and he's scratching everything. Martin Lawrence is just like, yo, play, no. Just him overselling
that
like Dolph Ziggler. But no, I legit felt his pain. I could understand. That's understandable. But then just like, what? And then, bitch, get out the car. Get out the car. Like, yeah, while misogynistic, from his point of view.
Hey man, it was the 90s. You can say that.
I say that.
That word is very big in the 90s. Can't say it now for some reason.
But why? Again, when did you see this movie? Did you see it too young, or did you see it at the right time?
I probably saw it like 95, somewhere around there. Okay. Because my mom's had the VHS, so I saw it way after, of course, because I was like 2 years old when that came out. But yeah, it was around the time when I started watching the Martin show, even though I was little. And it's ironic to see both of them in a scene together, and then years later, they in the Martin show. Mm-hmm. It's like the multiverse.
And then again, as we alluded to, maybe with Wilson, they had legit heat. But that's a whole different thing. But yeah, but no, I thought it was good. Again, the kind of like his dad chasing him at the same time is pretty funny. Like he knows he sneaks out, so he's got to chase him back to the house because like there are no cell phones. So that movie again can only live at that time. That movie is dated, but not in a negative way because ironically, shit like that would still happen at House Party. The fashion kind of still lives up because it's retro or it's coming back. But something like that, yeah, a father having to chase his son because he wasn't able to communicate or get a hold of him is something that's clearly dated. Again, with one cell phone, this movie's over. He'd have to throw the cell phone like into the ocean.
Yeah, because when LeBron and them was talking about remaking House Party, I was like, bro, that shit ain't gonna even be fun. Because everybody gonna be at their cell phones at the party anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the movie would be like they're streaming the House Party, and that's what gets it shut down. Like that was kind of thing with Project X. Like it's supposed to capture like the internet and social media being on the rise as you're having a house party, and that kind of makes it work to its benefit. But yeah, you couldn't tell that story now. But again, I mean, they would still resonate as like guys who would try to make it as like SoundCloud rappers or TikTokers. That aspect would work of like Kid and Play, and Belial, like as the DJ. There are certain aspects that could translate well, but I think it's a movie that still belongs to its time more than anything.
Exactly. And a lot of those people now, I mean, we still talk about them to this day. Like even some of the minor characters, I think, had a little bit of work, but the fact that movie is you know, what I mean, it spawned a new generation of talent for the most part. Like with Kid and Play, they were working a little bit in the 90s. I know now Play is more so Pastor. He's been for the past couple of years, like legit. Like they had him on Drink Champs. That man can drink. He don't cuss. He don't do nothing. So I don't know if that movie broke him down mentally, but he became a pastor after that.
You'd probably have to talk about something like that with in the Essex, because like Pusha T's brother, No Malice, same thing, right? And then Mace as well, right? Like you probably have to talk about that someone who's more qualified in the music realm to discuss like what happens in these guys' life, particularly like the rap music that makes them atone for their sins. But I mean, I can understand it as well if you had to grow up like that, or again, literally like when fame eats you alive, as like someone like Chris Tucker alludes to. Again, someone who blossomed in this period, and then you never hear from him the majority of like the later 2000s and 2010s, but except for here or there. But yeah, it seemed like fame got to him. And that's the thing, like you spoke to like Kid and Play are the star of these movies. I think it had happened like the 60s, 70s, 80s, but like musicians or stand-ups being the lead star of a movie really takes off here, I think, more than any other decade. It happened. I'm not saying but just time after time. Vanilla Ice had his movie. Andrew Dice Clay gets a movie. One of my favorite bad movies. I said like when we're discussing these 10 movies, we're not going to run back ones that we've talked about with like the action movie draft, Bad Boys. That's why we had it in its own class. Or when we discuss football movies, so like Any Given Sunday, we'll give shout outs to, because then that's like the second most 90s movie of all time, with everything involved in that. But so we're just trying to pick movies that we really haven't discussed too much before to give clarification of like, why is this one on it? Again, we could go on and on with these. But like I think Kid and Play, and then they're the stars of 2, and then 3. Are they for 3 and 4? Because there's 4, right?
They were in 3. 3 is funny as hell too. You definitely need to watch all of them, but watch 3 just because Chris Tucker was in that. He had one scene. You got Bernie Mac putting up 30 points each scene he's in.
He does that everywhere, though. He does that in Transformers.
Yeah, and that was just one
Bitch,
scene.
I had a rock, I'd beat your ass.
But in 3, hysterical. Like he's in the scene with 4 other people. 5 other. Wait, is it 4 other people? No, there's 5 other people, and he just putting up points. Like he got a bit for everybody, and it's like, bro, there's no way you could write this down. But no, they weren't in 4. 4 was just IMX at that point. Immature was their original name, and the third one was Marcus Houston, the Nasty Man. But then when they get to 4, it's just them. Don't watch 4. Watch 1, 2, and 3 though.
Yeah, it's on Netflix now. So that's the thing. You watching it on VHS in the 90s. Me watching it on Netflix 2021.
Right. Now I'm watching it on Netflix, and I'm about to watch 3 again. So
all right. I'll go with what I have listed at number 1 is Mulan. I always shit on cartoon movies that are like straight to DVD. So and plus the DC movies, that's all I have to cling to. Like, look at our animated movies, they're so good. Like, come on, I mean, when you have to cling to that, get the fuck out of here. But Mulan, Eddie Murphy as Mushu, he's still firing fastballs. I mean, he had done, Coming to America, Trading Places, Boomerang, all these legendary movies, 48 Hours. But now he's really going to the realm of kids, which you would later catch that energy again with Donkey in the Shrek franchise. But you see it really shine through here with you brought dishonor on me, you brought dishonor on your cow. It's a great story. Shouts to Ming Na Wen as the voice, and like you said, the soundtrack is great. The when will my reflection show who I am inside? Probably, and then like I said, I'll make a man out of you, which like she's pretending to be a man. When we go to 2000s and I have She's the Man, which these movies are the exact same of like a woman pretending to be a guy. I don't know what that says about me, but I love those 2 movies. But again, Mulan, it's actually got good action for a cartoon movie. when she again that whole montage of like be a man, you must be at the course in, and like she's like finally kicking ass and she beats his ass. The Lucky Cricket. Yeah, I had some of the toys. Again, this is kind of the commercialization of movies as well. Started with Star Wars, now it's full force. You're making a movie to make toys, to sell Happy Meals. That was the whole thing with when Kevin Smith talks about Batman Returns. They got flack for McDonald's got flack because the movie was a lot darker than they initially thought it was, and they were selling Batman Returns action figures. And like that movie secretly about like the Penguin gets aborted even though he's alive, and Catwoman looks like a dominatrix and acts like one, and all of it. The intention, especially with Disney, is to sell every fucking thing, and they do. And then this is kind of, I could have picked Toy Story because as a kid, according to my mother and father, I would take 2 VHS tapes with me everywhere. One was Toy Story and the other was Space Jam, so I could watch it whenever I want. Because again, I don't have an iPhone in 1996, 97. I'd have to carry the like physical VHS tapes, so I could probably see me doing that with my stupid fucking bowl haircut. Because my parents, they didn't love me enough apparently to do something about that hair. But yeah, Mulan, it's my favorite animated Disney movie. Well, both CGI and hand-drawn cartoon style. So, and I could, like I said, go on and on, but it's beautiful, romantic, like an action comedy. It's got all of it. I like movies that can have the music aspect. I like movies that have everything in it.
Yeah, I really like the song "True to Your Heart." I think that was a
yes by 98 Degrees. No, 98 Degrees
98.
with Stevie Wonder. Like,
Stevie Wonder.
Yeah. Yes, I have that song. I play. Must be true to your heart. Shower you like Stevie Wonder. Like
they was going crazy in that video too, because they used to run that promo during the Disney Channel.
Exactly. Yeah. Watch that video and just watch how like they're dressed. They're dressed for like the winter, and I don't think it's cold outside at all. And I haven't seen into anyone who's going off and shit. I have not seen the live action Mulan that came out last year. I'll never watch it. As soon as they told me Mushu wasn't gonna be in it, I was like, "Fuck you! You ain't getting my fucking money." Right.
It doesn't make any sense why he's not in it. Eddie Murphy has definitely made way more money in animated movies than live action. Them royalty checks are stupid.
Yeah, 100%.
Mortal Kombat is my second pick. Once again, these aren't in particular order, but anybody that's watching on YouTube, that Banks versus Davis podcast on YouTube, you can see my picks. I wish I would have subbed out because I was stripping. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a big part of my childhood, but Mortal Kombat is also part of my childhood. The Mortal Kombat movie, people will say is bad. At that point, I'm probably 7, 8 years old, somewhere around that. I thought it was great. I probably could watch it right now. I'm a big Mortal Kombat fan. Yeah, that's both of them are on there. Annihilation.
Mortal Kombat. That theme song.
Mm-hmm. And they started off with Shang Tsung getting straight to the shits too. Getting straight to the shits.
Funny enough, again, directed by the other Paul W.S. Anderson, who would go on to make the Resident Evil movies, literally all of the video game movies that people are mad at him for making because they're not true to the source material at all. But he was like, "Fuck you! I'm making these movies." Later, again, the future husband of Mila Jovovich. And that's how she continued to have a career, as you and I have discussed offline.
Right, and everybody mad about it. Don't hate the player, hate the game, as Booker T once said.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat, again, get over here. I think they probably did the best they could at that time with like the effects and all that. Annihilation, I've seen more. I've always had that VHS tape was at my dad's. I would always watch that. So I really haven't seen the first one as much as I've seen Annihilation. And Annihilation has Jax. I always forget what the fucking robot is called. But that scene's actually dope in the hospital.
It's Cyrex, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I always forget. I'm like those like the names. Well, should be it, but again, Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage again, my favorite character is in the first one a lot more. Again, he's supposed to be Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's like, "You broke my glasses, asshole," or like whatever he says. Like,
Yeah, with the video games, you know the story about that, right?
it was supposed to be a Jean-Claude Van Damme video game, right? And then he wanted all the licensing or whatever, right? And then
Yeah, and the bread, and he was like, "Fuck you, we just make a rip
Yeah.
off."
Exactly. And he ended up going straight to DVD movies after that.
The supports coke habit.
All right, so Mortal Kombat. Again, do you prefer? So you prefer this obviously over Annihilation?
Yeah, the honorable mentions, Annihilation would definitely be on there.
Yeah. Okay, I got number 2, Clueless. Again, my mom showed me this movie. It's a movie that my dad and mom both like, which is kind of weird. It was a movie that like a few times they got along when I was growing up. It was like over the movie Clueless. And funny enough, like my dad was essentially like the Travis Birkenstock character, this stoner skateboarder, except my dad wasn't a stoner. And my mom was like a mixture of Cher and Ty, Alicia Silverstone, and Brittany Murphy's character. But Paul Rudd, my guy, is in it. I think this is probably the first time I was like, Paul Rudd's like legit top 5 favorite actor. It starts with this movie. Let me clarify this. It probably has like the worst ending you can ever have to a movie, which is 2 people who were once step siblings that aren't step siblings getting together. And she's also underage. So that doesn't help it age well, but it's still phenomenal. Donald Faison as Murray with the whole woman, why don't you answer my pages? Calling her woman. So basically, Dwayne Johnson stole that when he later on played Luke Hobbs, calling every woman.
They just like me.
What am I going to tell my grandchildren when he shaves his head bald? Again, I can. It's a lot of these movies I can quote. But yeah, it's a rom-com. It's a teen rom-com as well, and the 90s really going into the teen rom-com. The other one I could have picked that was similar in tone was 10 Things I Hate About You, which funny, I forgot. Well, I didn't forget, but like Daryl Chill Mitchell, right? Is in 10 Things I Hate About You, has a great steam-stealing performance, and he's Chill in House Party. It's like, hey, that's him. Like, again, he bumps into the table. It's like, I fixed your shit. He's like, don't bump into the table. So I was like, oh shit, because again, he would have been on my list, and that movie would have been on my list if I didn't try to pick the same type of movie. But Clueless, it's on HBO Max at the moment because I just watched it recently. Again, anytime any of these movies are available to watch, I try to watch them as soon as possible. Just because, and I've seen them multiple times, so I could just put on, quote it, pay attention to something else, get back into it because I've just seen it that many times. And I just saw this movie again, and it has kind of everything. And Alicia Silverstone's great at narrating it, and again, it's like I said, it's one of the best teen rom-coms that you'll see. Do you like Clueless, or have you? And it's great. It's a great line in the song "Beautiful" by Snoop Dogg, Pharrell, and Charlie Wilson. He's like, "Hurry up so we can watch Clueless, baby. We got to get to this." I think is what he says is the next line, or getting to it. Yeah, great song as well.
A gorgeous song. Yeah. So I watched this movie. I definitely want to watch Clueless with somebody. I watched this movie as a shorty as well.
You want to show Stacey Dash?
No, I am not qualified in her eyes. That's a total 180 to go from that to Paper Soldiers to
the All Falls Down video with Kanye West. Don't forget that. That's in there as well. The All Falls.
Yeah, she definitely found it down. She found down the coon rabbit hole.
All right, what do you got? Oh,
you ever see Holiday Heart?
Okay, I haven't. I have read this synopsis. There we go, synopsis. Many a times, whenever I would like read the physical like TV guide in the newspaper, it'd be like Holiday Heart. drag queen takes in a mother and daughter during the Christmas season or whatever. And I'm like, and starring Ving Rhames. I'm like, Ving Rhames.
Listen, I've seen Pulp Fiction, but this don't have nothing to do.
Ironically, is what I'm going to do next. So again, shouts to Ving Rhames, all-time acting legend. Keep getting those checks in Mission Impossible. Great voice, just amazing act. Again, him and Baby Boy is like living on in Twitter, which I am thankful for, because again, he legit just like, I told you, I fucking told you. And yet, like Dexter Loomis this week was on that shit when he was just choking motherfuckers out during laser tag on NXT. But the Holiday Heart, I have not seen it.
How do I say this? So the deeper, darker plot of this movie isn't him dressed like that at all.
No.
Do you want me to spoil the movie for you for the most part? I'll give you the basic plot points.
Yeah.
So his boyfriend dies, right?
Something
that was going on in the 80s. That's how he died. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, ask Magic Johnson.
What did Dave Chappelle say?
It wasn't stopping him.
You remember that joke Dave Chappelle said about they probably putting in the disco balls?
Oh, no. I don't think I've heard.
Okay,
I don't remember.
Because I was like, As soon as he said that, people was laughing. I was like, Studio 54.
See, everyone laughs. You're like, wait a minute. Everyone's like,
no.
That's pretty. But you're like, no, shut the fuck up. He's saying something.
Right. That's how I am with most punchlines. Like,
you're a conspiracy brother in Undercover Brother. Slap 5 on the upset. Like, you know why they told us to slap 5?
On the backhand. So, look, he is I and I is him. 20-year anniversary of the Blueprint. So it goes into. So it's that, but then the woman he takes in. See, they were slick in the 90s. They try to tell you the synopsis in that way. Like, yeah, just drag queen takes in mother and daughter for Christmas. It's called Holiday Heart, but boy, it's Holiday Black Heart. There's some evil shit that go on in this movie. So he's trying to save his money because he want to move to Paris, right? Because him and his husband was supposed to move to Paris. But then the mom that they talking about, she is indeed going through her own sort of 90s sickness.
I think I'm forgetting, like in the plot synopsis, it says a drag queen takes in a drug addicted mother.
There you go.
An addict.
And I'm not saying his lifestyle isn't a sickness. Let me clarify because I know no. Yeah, I'm not. But I gotta say because you know what era
with Ving Rhames' frame, like it's a sickness. Boy, beat your ass.
It ain't even that. And like I said, I'm trying to keep it clean because these motherfuckers will fire you. It's just the fact that she had the 90s sickness. It's called crack cocaine.
Yeah. You smell crack, don't you?
So, yeah. Hey, Lean on Me was in the 90s, right? No, that was the 80s.
I'd say it's probably 80s. Yeah, mid to late 80s.
Yeah, because Dupree that was in the Wayans brothers was little at that point. So, yeah, that makes more sense.
89, so just missed it.
Oh, okay. So I was one when I came, or a couple months. All right, so he takes in the daughter. You gotta watch this shit. It's kind of like a horror movie, just because of the mom. The mom is the reason for it to be a horror movie. Like he's legit trying to do the job for the mom and the daughter. The mom, because they made crack seem like possessed by the devil to a certain degree.
Well, look at Snowfall and Wanda.
Yeah, and that's when the shit was like pure too. So she's like flipping out. The daughter bad as hell because she come from a bad household. So Holiday is trying to help her. First of all, this is how you know this movie is bullshit. He slaps the daughter because she was just being disrespectful to him. Yo, if Big Rain slaps you, you not no selling no fucking slap. She sold the slap. She just
like
touched
Minoru
her face.
Suzuki. Like Minoru Suzuki, you ain't
right. Going back and forth with the four, like, bro. If Ving Rhames lightly slaps you, bro, there's
what I was
no
thinking
way
last night.
You could work that
real quick.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? imagine a match between Minoru Suzuki and Brock Lesnar.
Oh, Brock going to sleep.
But again,
He
because
no
again, Brock
form.
Lesnar doesn't like to get hit in the face. So Minoru Suzuki slapping him, be like, all right, Brock, you have to let him slap you for 10 seconds, and then you can go berserk. But like, probably after 4 slaps, Brock Lesnar's gonna be like, fuck this shit, and just like throw him out of Madison Square Garden before like Minoru Suzuki can lock a fucking legit Kimura or knee bar on him. But I was just thinking that last night when Brock Lesnar showed up. I'm like, oh, imagine Minoru Suzuki and Brock Lesnar if they had a match.
But as soon as he hits Minoru, all Minoru gonna do is that slap on the head shit when he start going crazy. Like, hit me again. He start doing that. It's to protect. I don't know if that's to, tell the CTE to settle down or what when he slaps his head, but still.
But yeah, no, in the 90s. In the 90s,
Watch.
crack is a big thing.
The way you said it.
In the 90s, another movie we'll get to, spoiler alert, Jungle Fever with I Smoked the TV, New Jack City. Granted, didn't make my or your list, but it's one of our favorites. I can say that for you at least, right?
That's in my top 5 favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, so New Jack City, Jungle Fever, Losing Isaiah. The whole point of that movie is Halle Berry's a crack addict that loses her baby to a white woman. Never seen it,
Still
but I
look
know
good
that's
as a motherfucker. How you still look good?
how you
Off
in the
the
crack,
shit.
but still okay. Same thing with I mean, it's a movie because I gotta mention this every time. Moonlight. It takes place it's filmed in 2016, but the section, I think he's a kid in the 90s when it's chapter 1. His mom, again, Naomi Harris, is a crack addict. So like again, crack ran rampant in the 90s. So there's a whole bunch of movies where like that was the thing going on.
And Shorty, that's in Snowfall too. I forgot her name.
Like I said, Wanda, yeah. That's Snowfall takes place in the 80s is the thing.
No, Wanda and what's the name? The neighbor.
Oh yeah, goddamn. Yeah, when he says she on rock, and the mom just looks at him, and he's like, "Yeah, she's gone, like for good. We ain't getting her back."
Well,
that
we
that
not gonna
hit
spoil
hard.
it.
Oh, no, I still haven't finished the previous season.
Okay, we'll talk about it off here.
I know
I won't
she
spoil
got.
it, but yeah.
No, I got to like episode 3. I know she got saved. Because I texted you like, this bit's on some I Found God, Shawn Michaels bullshit. Fuck out of here. You can't atone for those sins when you were.
She just did the Kanye joint.
Yeah, but
She
but
just couldn't
anyway.
sell merch.
Holiday Heart. 2 thumbs up, says Banks.
I ain't say all that.
All right. So at 3, like I said, funny enough, Ving Rhames, Pulp Fiction. Again, I'm a typical white guy. Got to have a Tarantino movie. Out of the 3 movies he made in the 90s, Reservoir Dogs being first, Pulp Fiction being second, and then Jackie Brown. Even though I like all 3 of them, I love Reservoir Dogs. Jackie Brown, I don't love, but Samuel Jackson's great in it. Shots of Pam Grier. Okay, Chris Tucker is great in his one scene as Beaumont Livingston. It's fucking got Bridget Fonda, who I'm like, oh god. But and Robert De Niro's kind of there for like no reason, really, is the crazy thing. Like he's just there to say I worked with Quentin Tarantino.
That and he was trying to talk to Pam Grier.
Hey, for shots to Robert Forster I think probably legit fell in love with like Pam Grier in that movie because their romance together is great. He's like, because he's looking at her like, damn, this is you at 50. I can imagine what you like that 25. Like, God. And again,
Have you not seen the pictures?
Oh no, I've seen.
With Richard Pryor.
Come on.
And he was
And
wild.
That's you know what we talked about a few weeks ago. It's making the side note. It's making the rounds this week. Olivia Munn gets knocked up by John Mulaney. That's the fucking what do they call it? Patient zero is Richard Pryor and Pam Grier. That's patient zero of super hot women and comedians. That's patient zero.
Being me, dipping out on me. As soon as I heard that news about Olivia Munn.
And again, I funny if I tweeted about it before you started. Like when this whole thing was going on, like I remember reading what Olivia Munn sent to Chris Pine, and I was like, goddamn. When Drake says that, again, Aaron Rodgers, you know, he ain't fumbling the football, but he's fumbling this woman. So Hey, can't have everything. But side note, but yeah, Richard Pryor, Pam Grier, patient zero for that shit. No offense to Richard Pryor, but Pam Grier, and she was with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, right? That makes more sense because again,
I don't
women
know,
need
because he transitioned around the 90s to start talking to women that look like you.
No. It like early when he might have been still Lou Alcindor at that point when they were talking, when they were together, or he might or early Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, like Milwaukee Bucks Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, not Lakers Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It's when they were together.
Yeah, because when he came out here, he was on some nut shit.
But yeah, that's again, women either want comedians or tall guys. So that's why I gotta try to be as funny as I fucking can.
Right. You better start selling that funny. You be trying to no sell that shit.
But yeah, Pulp Fiction. How did we get to there?
The basement scene.
Okay, let's go. All right. Oh, because we were talking about Tarantino movies, Pam Grier. There, I was like trying to retrace the steps how I got off to that tangent. But yeah, the basement scene. So I saw this movie as a freshman in high school. It was when my dad moved to Minnesota. He had a stack of DVDs. This was in it. Not no nasty shit was in it. Don't have any of those. It's like, son, I leave you these, and I was like, wow.
Booty Talk 39.
I think he kept those to himself because I remember one time being like, what's this? Oh, whoa. But yeah, so me and my brother one night we like, oh, let's watch Pulp Fiction. Like neither of us had seen it. My brother's younger than I. Our mom's asleep. And we're like, oh, like this movie's amazing. You know, like again, what's a Royale with what they call a quarter pounder in France? Royale with cheese. It's got great dialogue, the whole. And those who try to destroy my brothers, and Samuel Jackson with the motherfucker this, and
what does Marcellus Wiley look like?
Well, this look like what?
What?
Does he look like a bitch? No. Why are you trying to fuck him like a bitch, Brad? Do they speak English? And what English, motherfucker? Do you speak it?
Do you speak it?
And that turns Samuel Jackson into the career he has for the rest of his life as the man who will say motherfucker this, motherfucker that, and keep, again, all time getting those checks legend, but also all time performer because he's fucking phenomenal in that movie.
Yeah, he might be the greatest all time getting those checks because this shit he been in. I'm like,
oh, it's him on Mount Rushmore. That'd be a good future episode, all time checks getter, because Joanne Hunsu's probably second team all time check getter. But yeah, Samuel Jackson's captain of the first team for damn sure. But yeah, the whole I'm gonna walk the earth. What you mean walk the earth? I'm gonna walk like King in Kung Fu. Like, and then we get the Bruce Willis story, which the story about the watch in the ass is kind of a thing where like, goddamn, okay, but guys legit had to do that, so I understand it. he
used to talk to his shorty bad. Remember, he kept talking to her all disrespectful. Like something was off with her, and he kept just talking to her.
The woman is want to get her
God,
the French woman in Fabian. She's God, like I said last week with Aquafina and Shang-Chi and Kirsten Dunst in Spider-Man, just like dead weight, go away heat, just like every scene you're in. She only has like 2 scenes. I'm like, oh God, I want to change the channel, but he has to go back, get the watch. You find out John Travolta's there. It's like, oh, the movie's out of order. That blew me away the first time. Like, holy shit. We're skipping over the shit where fucking Uma Thurman overdoses because she sniffs heroin, thinking it's cocaine. Which, like, bitch, how crazy do you have to be?
She had the first fentanyl pack.
Yeah. When Rue hits the fentanyl in Euphoria, that episode, that was the original version. Was that the adrenaline needle, which is still an iconic thing when people think of like adrenaline needles. It's because Pulp Fiction taught it to them. But yeah, so the scene with the fucking gimp and of course the racist hillbillies got to do some fucking. And I looked at my brother and I was like, what the fuck? And then of course he gets a samurai sword and he like cuts the dude in half, and then fucking Marcel's gets the fucking shotgun and shoots his fucking dick off, and is like, I'm gonna get a couple hard hitting to go to work with a blowtorch. You hear me, hillbilly boy? I'm gonna get medieval on your ass.
Yo, if that happened to somebody, yo, you'll never be the same again.
No,
like, bruh.
I've been on a big Patrice O'Neill kick this week, and I'm hearing him talk about this scene. He's like, you know damn well Marcellus Wallace had to kill the men who kill Zed. Like, what did this guy do to you? He fucked me in the ass. Oh, and then you'd have to take care of those guys as well. Because again, if he's pissed about a guy, if he's throwing Tony Rocky Horror off the fucking roof into the greenhouse because he gave Mia Wallace a foot massage, then damn well he's killing the guys he's telling that he got fucked in the ass. You remember that whole scene when Travolta and Samuel Jackson are talking? He's like, "You remember Tony Rocky Horror? Oh, fat, right? Man, Samoan. Of course he's gonna be fat or something like that. Can't do nothing about it. Motherfucker Samoan, half black, half Samoan." He threw him off. He threw him off.
He wasn't working out.
He said he threw him off. That fell through that and fell through that onto a greenhouse. Ever since then, he's talking about a speech impediment. All because he gave a foot massage, which is like, that's really the development of like the Tarantino foot massage. Is that scene? I mean, the foot fetish, as then we later see in From Dusk Till Dawn, great '90s movie. Again, with the all-time like turnaround flips of like this movie turns into completely something else. It's like, oh, it's some crime like hostage movie. No, the vampires come out. Like, what the? And Salma Hayek, first team all-time pressure, and that movie. And to this day,
La Pressure.
Yeah. But yeah, Pulp Fiction. I mean, everyone's had to have seen it. Won Best Screenplay. Again, made Tarantino the one he is. You've seen it ripped. It's ripped off in Space Jam. I didn't know it at the time, but when Yosemite Sam and Elmer Fudd are shooting the teeth out of the monster, which then like the Black Eyed Peas had that song, like they, like, but yeah,
they not seeing heaven. Any of the Black Eyed Peas.
That's a trigger word when you say not even Fergie for
turn up the radio.
Not even for Clumsy and London Bridge, London, because you know, come on.
That's different. That's her by herself. I love London Bridge. Yeah. I love that Fergie album. And then I like that one song, Don't Mess With My Heart. Otherwise than that, I can't fucking stand the Black Eyed Peas.
Okay. But
I've been that way since I was shorty.
But yeah, since like I said, I am the typical white film-loving white guy, film lover. I show women Tarantino movies. I've at least shown two love of my lives, the Pulp Fiction, as a way to like show them Tarantino movies. So like, yeah, it's a go-to for like any white guy, cinephile, letterbox reviewer, all that. So what do you got next?
Surprised you didn't show on Postal.
Do you like Pulp Fiction? What's your favorite Tarantino? Is Pulp Fiction number one, or would it be?
Oh, hell no, it's Django.
I just realized like no, it's Django because you post
Django
the Samuel Jackson. You post the Samuel L. Jackson memes from Django too often.
Dog, because he is the Michael Jordan of coons. That shit is hilarious though. But he makes it funny.
Like I miss a rock in my shoe. Oh, you decrepit! You decrepit old bastard. He just.
But I'm gonna ask you again. Who is that on the horse? On that nag? Bro, that shit is fucking hysterical.
Oh god.
Funniest time I've ever had at the movie theater.
That movie shouldn't be as funny as it is considering what is happening. But it is. What do you mean he's on the horse? And they're like, you can't, so you want me to talk to him like white folk? I didn't say that. He's like, don't you ever fucking say that to me again. No, talk to him like, what's the Picklewood boy name? Jerry. Talk to him like Jerry.
Mr. Django here is a free man. Like, bro, what the fuck? Yeah, that movie should not be funny. But when he got shot in the house, bro, to this day, I cry in hysterics just because he talking shit after he got shot. He said, Lord Jesus, please let me kill this.
Yeah.
I said, bro.
Again, when that movie plays Tupac during a shootout, it's like, oh my, this movie's on another level. As like Jamie Foxx goes fucking.
He was also you never played
Tupac
Mad Max or not Mad Max, Max Payne, but
but he's on the bullet time thing. Yeah. But Yeah, that when either we'll do a Tarantino episode or we'll do 2010 movies. We'll do that. We'll discuss Django Fuller in character. But again, the way Christoph Waltz delivers lines in that movie from Lubbock, Texas, just the way he pronounces shit in that movie is just like insane. I get the man's got a German accent, but still, it's like, I'm here to collect this bounty.
I am not a dentist. I'm in another practice.
Oh, he was a dentist. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not practicing. Bromilda. Stipend.
All right.
But all right, so what do you
My
got?
husband says speak German. This will be quick. House Party 2. House Party 2 takes place in college. My man from Stargate. Yeah.
Okay.
It takes place during college.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll see.
I don't watch number 2 yet. Yeah, I'll probably watch it later. Yeah.
Yeah, do that. Please do. Because then you'll just see it's great. The franchise is great storytelling. They did do that favor, even though the fourth one is not good because it goes from high school, college. The third one, they're promoting music, they're managers. Ultimately, he started doing that, being a kid. You'll see what happens in the second one. Why he just like, yeah, but now he's engaged in the third one. So
an example of white people taking shit like they take everything else is American Pie. First one, high school. Second one, college. Like, okay.
And I like in American Pie movies, but I can't tell you what happened in the second and third one. It's been years.
Like the second and third ones are actually like underrated. But do you think does House Party live up as a great sequel? When we did our sequel podcast, I don't remember you having it on there, or maybe you could have, but I can't recall.
No, I didn't have it on there just because the second one is cool. Like it's still great for the storytelling aspect of it, but the third one is it. Like it goes like in my eyes 1, 3, and 2.
Oh, one of the rare instances. Okay.
Yeah, and you'll see when you get to 3. Like I'm telling you, because 3 basically brings everything back to the 60s. It's just like, and then it's a new pathway from that as well. So, I won't spoil it for you, but we think it's going to happen based on the first and second one with Kid doesn't really particularly go the way it's supposed to. But in the end, everybody becomes happy. And that sounds just like life. But in the second one, my man from Stargate, SG1 is in it. Forgot his character's name in there. And I like that show. He plays one of the professors. He kind of nasty because Sydney is 18 and he's a professor at school. So I don't know. And he played the voice of Kratos too in God of War.
Yeah, I can't think of his name at the moment. Even though I don't really, I've never really played those games. But
you never seen Stargate, huh?
No.
You got to become a man of culture. You got to watch Stargate, Star Trek, the new generation. You got to start watching stuff with stars in it, bro. Except for Star Wars, unless you watch Bad Batch. That's it. Better
the only Star Wars movie,
those other franchises.
Only Star Wars movie to come out this decade was The Phantom Menace, and I was not putting that on the list. Believe me.
No, don't do that. But otherwise, and that just real quick, it's just they in college. Kid ended up rooming with somebody named Jamal. He resembles you in a way, but he has dreads.
Oh wow!
He got the Bray Wyatt dreads. So that's the picture I'll put up later to promote this. And otherwise, that Kid and Bilal basically are trying to do the music thing. And yeah, you'll see. He had to get a scholarship though, being Kid, because obviously they didn't have any money. And then God bless Robin Harris died at this point. Like legit shoot, he died before the second movie.
One of those. See, that's always the shitty thing. And I have a movie on here later where the franchise keeps going and something like that happens. But yeah, it was also one of the things where next decade with Harry Potter, Richard Harris is great as Dumbledore in the first 2 ones. He unfortunately passed away. Michael Gambon plays Dumbledore throughout the rest of the franchise. And he's good, but Richard Harris kind of had a more like warmth and Santa Claus portrayal of Dumbledore, which it made sense because those films got darker as they went on. But that's neither here nor there. Next up for me is Heat. Again, typical white guy pick, but it's got a top 5 all-time cinema scene, which is the diner scene between Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, two of the greatest actors of their generation and of all time, going head to head. Again, the whole rumor was they were never really in there. They used stand-ins, but then Al Pacino debunked that. And there's a legit picture of them in the diner together, Michael Mann directing them. And it's that scene. Just watch it. You don't have to watch the whole movie. I recommend you watch the whole movie because it's got an all-time Al Pacino performance. This man, I mean, he plays probably one of the greatest cinematic characters of all time, Michael Corleone. And then in the 90s, he's already, done Scarface. He's done this and that, and Dog Day Afternoon, etc. He had won his Oscar for Scent of a Woman, even though he deserved it for either of the first two Godfathers. But in the 90s, he becomes the Al Pacino we all know, with the over-the-topness, crazy, again, she's got a great ass, and you got your head all the way up it. And then when he runs that back as a football coach in any given Sunday, you got to claw with your fingernails for that inch. And that's going to make the fucking difference between winning and losing, between living and dying. Yeah, he becomes this guy after this movie. It's like the last movie where he's a good looking guy. And then after that, it's like, God, this man aged horribly. His skin is just all leathery and tan.
Cocaine in 16-hour days.
The kind of whole point of his Vincent Hanna character is he's supposed to be a cop on cocaine the entire time, which is why he'll be there's a scene with him and a guy where he's like, give me all you got. Give me all you got. And he's just being over the top in a scene he wouldn't need to be. Robert De Niro plays subtle, quiet, bank robber. Val Kilmer's in it. This was when he was trying to be the character actor he wanted to be, not the leading man, which Hollywood thought he should be. A lot of great that guy performances in it. Dennis Haysbert, Danny Trejo, Ted Levine, aka the guy from Fast and Furious, who Brian O'Connor reports to, aka Buffalo Bill. That guy's in it. Michael T. Williamson, Bubba Gump is in it as well. West Studi. It's a great cast. Young Natalie Portman. That kind of storyline with the stepdaughters, but it leads to great scenes when his wife is cheating on him. He's like, all right, you can sleep with my wife, but you can't watch my goddamn television. And he takes the TV with him. But the over-the-topness in acting, again, it's Vin Diesel saw that. It was like, oh, that's how you act. You go from 0 to 100. Oh, it makes sense to me. But some of the best shootouts, and they're real loud, especially the one in the middle of the street when it's Pacino and his crew against De Niro and his crew, and then the ending at the airport's good. But this is a movie that you can tell Michael Mann, who's someone who's again studied the craft of filmmaking and puts everything into it. This is the prime example of that, because he had made this as a TV movie, then was able to remake into a full-length feature because the story meant that much to him.
Absolutely. When you get a chance, if you don't know about that production or that date or days for the heist scene, go ahead and look that up. But downtown LA, from what I heard and a little bit from what I remember, was crazy when they was making that scene. Police legit thought it was
it's
a
legit,
shootout.
And it's legit LA location. Michael Mann tried to get to as real as he could with the places he was at. Because again, the whole thing with what pissed off Jamie Foxx during the production of Miami Vice is they were actually in Cuba, right? If I'm not mistaken, or yeah. And then someone got shot on the production, and then he was like, "I'm getting the fuck out of here!" No. And that's a whole story thing. But Michael Mann, again, legendary career. This is the movie that inspires The Dark Knight. One of the all-time greatest comic book movies, and also a great movie as well. You don't get that without Heat.
Probably the greatest comic book movie of all time, but that's just me being biased. All right, so I have, I'll take out Sugar Hill for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
All right, go ahead. I haven't seen Sugar Hill.
Yeah, let me take that out. Watch that. I had to choose at least 2 Wesley Snipes movies, but that's a Wesley Snipes movie. That's they used to call it crime drama. It's action, but they called it crime drama. So when you get a chance, check that out.
Look it up real quick. But go ahead, go into detail about Ninja Turtles.
Man, where do I start? I've been a Ninja Turtles fan since I can remember, since I was a shorty. That was the first game I had on NES, not Super NES. Then when I got a Super Nintendo, I had Turtles in Time. The arcade game, I had that. So the movie, because I watched the movie first. Did I watch the movie first? Didn't get the NES game? It was one or the other, but still, I feel like I watched the movie first. So the first one I watched, in love with. The second one with Kevin Nash, I definitely was a bigger fan. I've seen Return of the Ooze or Return to the Ooze numerous times.
Secret of the Ooze, I've seen more than the first, and as a kid, I probably preferred it more. Even though in hindsight, I probably wouldn't like it now because again, they had the whole mandate about you couldn't use the weapons in the second one because like the parent committee was mad about the violence in the first one with the swords and the sai and the nunchuck and all that. So that's why they use yo-yos and bullshit in the second one to fight the Foot and then Super Shredder.
Yeah, because in the first one, I'm like, yo, they using dead ass like shurikens. Somebody should be stabbed the fuck up. And then I think because kids was actually taking like fake ninja stars and just chalking it at people, but that happened regardless. So. But now the second one, I mean, Vanilla Ice, he had the same hairdo as you. He was going off with the ninja.
Yeah. Go ninja, what? Go ninja, go.
I remember the whole damn dance. But that second one,
my hair used to be real Vanilla Ice. It's not as much anymore, but it used to be real Vanilla Ice. I would put that shit all the way up to like it's more to the side now. But yeah. The Teenage Mutant Turtles, I've seen the first one. Great scene when it's Casey Jones against Raphael in the park. Cricket, you gotta know what a crumpet is before you know what a cricket is. And he hits him like right in the crotch with the cricket paddle and he does like a back body drop to sell that shit.
Yeah, they were selling like Dolph Ziggler back in the day for some reason. Legit, like when you get hit, you fly.
The logistics. Yeah, and it's again a dark movie. And it's got the good scene when the pizza guy is late. Nope, it's free or whatever. And he's like, I didn't know where to look. That's not our problem because they live in the fucking sewer. Because I live in the fucking sewer.
Yeah, that beginning part, and then when you finally see them was kind of wild. Like you see the animatronics going on.
They fight in the dark, right?
In the beginning, remember they were just like the shadows and shit when they help somebody.
Yeah, no, they do the Jaws trick. You don't show the monster right away; you reveal it later on, and kind of like Tim Burton's Batman too, where like he kicks ass. And you find out that's like really, and when Commissioner Gordon's like, "Oh my god!"
Exactly. They need to bring that back in movies, man. But social media get to it beforehand.
But yeah, Secret of the Ooze. I mean, it's got Ernie Reyes Jr., Legend of Surf Ninjas fame as Kino. He's what makes 2 so good, in my opinion. There's also some good comedy with hey Mikey, I can't hear you. Why can't you crunch a little louder? Just being the first one you see, it's with Shredder and all that. Especially like this, the fight at the end with Shredder and Splitter is like really. It's like the first Star Wars of Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, where it's just like their lightsaber fight is, and then it ends. It's like Splitter just throws like 2 stars, right? And they like, no, I'm just talking about in the like, and then like, because then they're trying to control a full like puppet rat, voiced by Kevin Clash, aka Elmo, aka Nasty Man.
I'm about to say that.
Yeah,
they recently just found out about him. I said, God damn.
No, I remember reading about that. I remember reading about that like a decade ago. Yeah.
No, but now they like, all right, bro. It's simmered up to this point where we gotta do something. I'm like, God damn, we're nothing sacred anymore.
Do you think this should count as a comic book movie? Because there was the graphic novel. No, okay. Because
the graphic novel came out first, then you had the cartoon, which I saw like years later. Then you had the movie. So most people don't even remember graphic novel.
But that's still a comic book movie IP. That's still comic book IP.
Technically, it is.
Yeah.
but they categorize it
You,
just
but you
as
don't, yeah, you don't categorize it as that. That's what I'm saying. I think it's.
I
something that
would
maybe
because I'm a
you
technical
would've.
person. Yeah, I would
True,
because I
true.
remember the graphic novel years later, and I had a comic with Raphael when
And
he
the
was
graphic,
solo.
and it's supposed to be darker, right? It's got the lighter tone of like pizza and all that, but isn't it supposed to be somewhat darker than what it would come on to be known as?
Yeah, because everybody else, after around the time when the third movie came out, a little bit around that time, they had a graphic novel when he was just by himself and everybody else was up out of here.
Yeah.
It was just him, and it was what's the name? Casey.
Who's your favorite Ninja
Um,
Turtle
it's-
before we move on?
My son Michelangelo.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, he'd probably be my second, Leonardo, because I like swords and shit.
He was the guru. You already know.
But yeah, Michelangelo definitely number 2 for me. But all right, I got Goodfellas. Again, seen this movie numerous times. It's a movie that's endlessly rewatchable. You can watch it anytime, and a great scene will happen. Besides The Godfather, probably the Godfather Part 2, I'd say the second best gangster film of all time. Again, based on a true story, Henry Hill, all that. Martin Scorsese didn't win an Oscar for this, which is like insane. But Joe Pesci did for Best Supporting Actor, and he's phenomenal. Go
What
get your
won over
fucking shine
Goodfellas?
box. I think it was Dances with Wolves. Yeah. And I like Kevin Costner, but no. I've seen Dances with Wolves maybe like maybe half a time.
That's good enough. It's 4 hours.
Yeah. And my mom, it was a movie that my mom tried to show me. And I didn't have the patience to sit through the rest of it. But I think the first time I saw Goodfellas was when I broke my arm in 8th grade. And my dad rented it. I was like, all right, you're old enough to watch Goodfellas now. And the whole, it's endless lines. The Copacabana tracking shot to, and then He Kissed Me by the Crystals is phenomenal filmmaking. It's like, again, cocaine's a hell of a drug. This movie is like the poster child for, again, if Holiday Heart's the poster child for crack will ruin your life, this movie is the poster child that cocaine will ruin your life. You will always
I don't
be
think so.
It is because you will always
No,
be
because remember Henry had a my fault. Go ahead, and I'll tell you how I don't think so, because he kept his shit together, but then towards the end, when he started getting high on his own supply, which is a 10 crack commandment,
getting high in general. Like, no, it's the rule in the Scorsese movies, because he was someone who did cocaine, was that every Martin Scorsese has the same template, like the rise to power and then the fall back to reality. The Wolf of Wall Street he was getting high too much. I mean, he did the coke, but it was more the Quaaludes than anything. Casino, which runner up again takes place in was released in 95. I like Casino just as much as I like Goodfellas, but I like Goodfellas a little bit more than Casino. Casino is phenomenal, great. I think Goodfellas I think it is better, and I like it more. Like the scene when she calls him about the neighbor guy trying to get with her, and then he walks up, fucking bashes his face in with the butt of the gun. He's like, "You ever talk to her again? Sir, my mother's life, I'll fucking kill you." And then he walks back, and again, that's a tracking shot where it's like, and the mom yelling at him like, Henry. And Joe Pesci, again, is phenomenal in this movie. Everyone's great. De Niro, Ray Liotta, Lorraine Bracca. And she looks good in that movie before she gets all coked out. It's like, again, cocaine will ruin your life. That's what I'm saying. Again, moral of the story, and like when he's got all the money and she's got all the clothes, like she's like, "I want some money." He's like, "I gave you some money." And then she's like, and she's like, "I need this much." Then she like gives him a blowjob, and he's like, "Oh, okay, you can have all of it." And just like, well, I guess that's it. Samuel Jackson again is in this movie, and they killed Samuel Jackson. But if you haven't seen Goodfellas, everyone has to at least see this movie one time. I don't need to sell people on this. I'm just telling you some of the aspects I love about this movie. When he chokes the guy Morty and his wig falls off, and after he says like the wigs will never fall off.
Go get your fucking shoebox.
Yeah, go get your fucking.
I don't shine shoes no more. I don't shine shoes no more.
He's like, "No, you did good, Tommy. You did. Now go home and get your fucking shine box, you motherfucker, you." Didn't mean to get blood
Nah,
on the floor. It has the best opening. They're like, what's that in the trunk? And then they open it. It's like, motherfucker's still alive.
Stabbed the shit out there, man.
Yeah. Ugh, yeah.
Joe Pesci was off that bullshit, bro. He shot what's the name from The Sopranos.
Yeah, Michael Imperioli, aka JoJo in Bad Boys. Say it ain't so, Joe. Say it ain't so. I won't do that anymore. No, tires. That's my addiction. Tires. No, I'm all about that. Oh, come on, JoJo. No, you go kill JoJo the Tire Man. Okay, no, that's cool, Mike. That's cool. That's all you. Again, he's Spider. I'm the Oklahoma Kid. Boom, boom. After he tells him, go fuck yourself, Tommy's like, oh, Spider, here. And this one's for you, Spider. Way to stand up for yourself. And that's his death sentence.
Bruh, he was tripping. I'm glad he didn't get made. He went into that room. He was like, damn.
Oh, yeah. Again, this guy, he's a good fella. When they actually say the title of the movie and explain like what a good fella is, it's one of those subtle, funny things. Like, that you can the reasons, because, you would tell them, oh, that guy over there, he's a good fella. Yeah. What am I funny? You get the all-time scene. What am I, a clown? Huh? Am I funny how? That's how I should react when people say I'm funny. Like, what am I? What's so fucking funny about me? Huh? Please tell me what the fuck's so funny.
I'm just telling you what he said. I'm just telling you.
Just tell me. Just funny guy. You motherfucker. All right, what do you got?
Especially your boss. All right. Man, listen. Encino Hill. Encino Man.
Encino Man. I've never seen it. Never seen it.
What? You ain't never seen Encino Man?
Mm-mm.
Listen, bro. That started my fandom from Brendan Fraser.
I think I saw the trailer probably either in. Let me see what the year is released so I can make sure it's accurate. But go ahead.
Also, Patrice O'Neal talks about that song.
Okay, it's released in '92, so I probably would have saw it in like the trailer, as a trailer on maybe either Ninja Turtles or Three Ninjas or Surf Ninjas, something released around that time.
Yeah, because New Line used to show all the trailers for the upcoming movies.
Yeah, see, Three Ninjas is 1992 as well as Encino Man, so they might have been in that same, because if it wasn't New Line Cinema, it was either Touchstone, and they had a great graphic as well, the little lightning bolt, and then Touchstone Pictures, like they had just great graphics in the 90s for opening credits.
Right, exactly. That's when they give it down. It's like
Netflix.
Bad
Robot in Sky. Yeah.
This is who you giving your $15 a month for. That's what they telling you.
But yeah, Brendan Fraser, this is kind of his big break, I think.
Yeah. This is after the movie with Adam Sandler and
Airheads. Airheads, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen that. I've seen that one time.
Same. I ain't seen this since like 2013, but this is this gotta be after that. Yeah, so this takes place after that. I mean, man, this is definitely my top 5 all time. I probably could say word for word, bar for bar with this movie. Yeah, no, this definitely, since I was a kid, this always been in my top 5.
Pauly Shore, really?
Look, bro, don't wheeze the juice.
All right,
you gotta watch Encino Man, bro.
Was Pauly Shore good in your opinion, or was he 90s good?
He was 90s good.
Okay.
You gotta see. I think it was a movie he came out with, like Pauly Shore is Dead or something. He had
that. I had that on DVD because my grandma gave my mom a box of like DVDs. We put that in, and they're showing like sex and all that, in like a weird way, like it might have been porn or something. And my mom's like, "No, we're turning this off," and I'm like, "I don't know what's going on."
Well, watch it now because they had Charlie Murphy in one scene. Yeah, I forgot what joke. You know how Charlie Murphy made violence hilarious? He said something about what he's gonna do to Pauly Shore, and that shit had me rolling. I forgot what he said.
The only thing I remember is like the kid's like chicle, 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 and there's like Rico Suave next to him or something like that.
They might say Rico Suave.
Yeah,
I think it was him. I was thinking about
Yeah.
Fabio.
because the kid's like, he's like, no, I don't want to get him. The kid's like, chicle, and I'm just like, what the heck am I watching? Like, thinking probably sure.
It still doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, the voice of the Goofy Max's buddy in the Goofy movies. Yeah,
And he had the same type of lines in Encino Man, like "Don't
Yeah.
wheeze this." I still don't know what the fuck wheezing
that's
is.
his.
Like,
He had his thing. Where's he fucking from? Is he from LA?
he got to be from out here because his mom owns a hotel like right where Santa Monica is.
Yep.
It's like right across the
Los-
street from the beach.
Born
Yeah.
Los Angeles, California.
Because
Yeah,
when you
his,
see Encino Man, that takes place in the valley, right? That's how the
his
valley
mother-
used to look.
His mother founded the Comedy Store.
Mm-hmm. And she owns some hotels, or he owns a hotel that's in Santa Monica, like right across the street from the beach, 3rd Street Promenade. And also, God bless John Witherspoon has, I mean, because you know he one of the first guys in the Comedy Store and shit. He talks about how he used to work for her.
He has a great little bit in House Party. When I saw John Witherspoon in the credits, I was like, oh yes, the legendary. And he's like, public, get him making no.
I paid $50,000 for this house.
$15,000 for this house. Making all the noise. You're the one making the noise. I'm trying to be on the phone right now. Forgot the number.
I am calling the police.
Yes. Again. But yes. Wow, Rose McGowan's listed in the credits of this movie.
That makes sense.
Encino Man. But yeah, it's so they find a caveman.
90s.
Yeah, that's the thing about the 90s. The 80s had it, but like the 90s took it up a notch with like the stupidest plots that somehow like made money or had a lasting impact. Again, the 80s is like, look who's talking. A baby voiced by Bruce Willis is like
classic. One answer.
No, but it's legit. When John Travolta's babysitting him, and he's like, "You looking at you think what I'm thinking?" When he's looking at her cleavage, she's like, "Yeah, lunch," because he thinks milk, because that's what he associates. But it's like,
I think Damon Wayans was in the first or second one. He did the voice from.
He's one of the kids in the. It's probably the second, because I think in the second he's in a daycare where he'll be around other kids. Yeah,
because then that's when they got the little sister.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie put me on a sex education too.
But yeah, hey, look, it's the bear show, and he sees the Snuggle Bear commercials,
and he was freaked out. That shit. Why the fuck do I remember that movie? Yeah, he was freaked out when he saw the bear. Then he had a nightmare, or he thought the bear was evil.
That's a different. No, I think that might be a different movie. I'm just saying the first one when he's like flipping, when the guy's trying to date his mom, flips the channel. He's like, "Hey, look, it's the bear show," because he sees the Snuggle Bear, and then like it's football. He's like, "I don't want to watch this." And he like smacks the remote.
Oh, it's the second one. The sister freaks out because remember Roseanne Barr does the voice for the sister, God, which is insane to think about in hindsight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had, again, Bruce Willis, and again, the babies don't talk. They talk regular, but their internal monologue is Bruce Willis and Roseanne Barr, which is like, it's imagine sounding like fucking yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
At that age, a cigarette voice.
Yeah. But yeah, Encino Man. Let me see if you can even find this somewhere. But you, like you said, you had this heavy rotation.
We in 2021. You can find anything, bro. You talking about can you find this anywhere?
I'm saying if it's on a it's not on a service. Oh no, apparently it's on Amazon. YouTube for free. YouTube for free. So this
I'll watch that shit tonight.
Must have ads playing with it. Let me see.
For the most part, if I can't find it on my stream service, I listen. I usually go to Amazon Prime or YouTube. Let me see.
Did you think Brendan Fraser was going to be? Did you think he was going to be a star when this movie was released? Yeah, no, it's just on YouTube for free. Wow.
Ain't that a bitch?
Yeah, did you think he was going to be a star later in the decade with George of the Jungle and The Mummy?
Hey man, Brendan Fraser, if you ever hear this, you're a star of my eye. Oh
yeah, no. You sent me a couple months ago when he was announced to star in that Darren Aronofsky movie. You're like, I can't wait. I'm like, you like Brendan Fraser like that? You're like, I love Brendan Fraser. Like, okay.
Yeah, I love Brendan Fraser.
I mean, what's he? Is he wearing what? Scottie Pippins in George of the Jungle when he runs back to the jungle? Isn't he wearing something? He had the air flights or something.
Yeah, that's gonna be on my honorable mentions too. Yeah, he was in the movie.
Yeah.
That's
Because
around
again,
the time.
John Cleese says his friend that. Oh, George, he is George of the Jungle.
I think then a cartoon Tarzan came out. The Disney movie was like 2 years later. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, with the Phil Collins Oscar-winning soundtrack.
Bro, that soundtrack hit.
And again, they're like, Phil Collins, we will pay you $800 million to make the soundtrack to this movie. He's like,
Bet.
just remember, take me home.
Yo, that was the white version of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Damn. Run away from me, baby.
I really want to know how much they pay him because that man did not.
Oh,
have
they
to
paid
go
him a
that hard
shit
on the
ton.
soundtrack.
They paid him a shit ton.
And I fuck with Phil Collins heavy, bro. But the
all right,
fact he's like, I'm about to spaz.
Yeah. I got Wayne's World. Best Mike Myers movie. No offense to Shrek. All the Shrek movies. The first Shrek's great. Again, Shrek 2, great sequel. And no offense to Austin Powers, and all three of them actually are pretty good in their moment. But this is the best. I mean, Bohemian Rhapsody scene. They're singing Bohemian Rhapsody in a car together.
If you're gonna spew in this, give him a little ass cup.
The little ass cup. It's got. I always refer to this whenever I meet, like, whenever I see a woman in real life or like on screen that I'm attracted to. I always like refer to it as the Dream Weaver. I've had that a few times in real life where I've seen a woman and it's like Dream Weaver, and like he's how he sees Tia Carrera in slow motion, and like I've like she's a babe. Whoa, swing! Like, yeah, you know. It's got every bit in it is great with the whole like Ed O'Neill as the donut sororiter. How come when you kill a man in war, you're considered a hero, but when you kill a man in the heat of passion, it's considered murder? It's like no. Only we can talk to the camera. And it's again breaking the fourth wall. The multiple endings. Let's do Scooby-Doo one. Rain, like, and he does the I never learned how to read, and he splashes the water on his face to like, and it says Oscar reel on the bottom. And at the end of the day, it's really a movie about selling out and not being commercial. With they have this small show. It's basically the podcast industry. Is this movie? What happens when you start getting paid and you can't talk? It's essentially what happened to DJ Samaro. You can't talk shit about anyone because you have to just like talk to these people now.
Is that gonna be us?
See, I say no because I don't want to be like. If they're like, Davis, you gotta talk to Paul W.S. Anderson. I'm like, fuck Paul W.S. Anderson and his shit films. Like, don't be like, no, you gotta say like why Monster Hunter is good. Fuck that. Yeah, I don't care how much you're paying me. I ain't paying to say that shit's good.
You know how I feel about money. I'm Vince McMahon and it relates to money. It's all about the money. But no, I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to talk to no Joe Biden.
Man's got to have a code. R.I.P. Michael K. Williams. But man's got to have a code. And it's either I'm shit talking you or you're paying me $1 million a day for the rest of my life to praise shit I don't like.
Oh, so you want the Howard Stern deal? That's once in a lifetime.
Yeah. I mean, that scene, again, like when they talk about selling out, like, you know, it's my choice and the choice of a generation. Because there's the Pepsi in his hand and him and the Reebok. You know, it seems like whenever people get paid, they just sell out completely. He's got the full Reebok. He's got the headband over the hat, the pizza hat. Oh, I agree. And the Doritos. And my head hurts. Take one of these. Yellow. Rob Lowe is great. It really establishes like Rob Lowe is a dickhead. But he's great.
So it's a shoot.
Shouts to Rob Lowe being the innovator of like the celebrity sex tape. Shouts to him. You know, it's again very problematic, but I just kind of respect it.
What Rob Lowe do now?
Wayne's World 2 only has a few good moments, but Wayne's World 1 phenomenal. Probably the best.
What you say about Rob Lowe? You can't skip
I
that.
ain't going back. I ain't going back to that. No, I know someone
Oh,
that
he was
like
a
Mike
freak
Lowry.
bull. Okay, bet.
Yes. When he was. Oh yeah, he said he was doing cocaine too. All the time. He's like, when you.
No shit. Do you see him on that current show? His eyes
No, I'm
don't
saying-
move.
No, but I'm saying like when he did Bill Simmons last year, he's like, no, it was the thing where like you got to the set, you'd be like, who has it? And they'd be like, oh, that guy over there. And you'd be like, bet.
Dog. To their defense, you work.
And he said he was
16 hours
partying
a day.
again. He was partying with Magic Johnson, so like that's how you know. He was going to Laker games with them, like in the finals. He was traveling to watch the Lakers. All right, so yeah, Wayne's World.
Next pick.
Again, everyone's had. You have to. I don't think we're really talking about deep cuts here. I think maybe Encino Man might be a deep cut to a few people, but Holiday Heart maybe not as much. But what do you have next up?
When we get to King of New York, probably so, and definitely the last one.
And that's a movie. I know I have to see, but I haven't seen, and it's my fault. King of New York, but we're at Jungle Fever again, a movie I haven't seen as well. Crazy enough, I just haven't seen that many Spike Lee movies. Disney.
I'll be on air. I'll say it. Anybody can add me. I'm not a big Spike Lee guy. Not saying he's bad. I'm just not a big Spike Lee guy other than Inside Man and Jungle Fever.
He got
I like
game?
the Old Boy remake. It's all right. I just didn't like Ray Allen. I don't have anything to get out.
Yeah. Ray Allen's the only weak part of it. I mean, but again, Mila Jovovich as the prostitute, that's also kind of like eh. But Denzel Washington is on one in that movie.
It's Denzel.
Yeah. And Bill Dunn, I think, as the uncle. He's great. Yeah.
You got to sign a deal.
Yeah.
Man, your aunt been helping you.
Yeah.
And then Ray Allen, because he can't act, just no selling everything.
All right, but
And they
Jungle
got
Fever.
pressure in there.
Oh, Rosario Dawson. Yes.
Yeah.
And she's probably is she considered underrated, or it should be known that she is? Because I think it's underrated.
I feel like somebody we
You think
know actually talked about her. Like she attractive, but not in that way.
Yeah, you're right. I remember. See, that's what I mean. That's why I was bringing it up. Yeah, it's you forget about it and then you remember it. Yeah, so she would be second, 13. Yeah.
Yeah, so she bad, but it's like, you know what I mean? Like, we'll kick it. You feel me? Go out in public. Like, you know what I mean?
I'm just saying, look up
we go
the
Dave
movie.
and Buster's.
Just type in Rosario Dawson in the movie Trance. That's it. Just Google that, see what you find. You won't regret it. And she was dating Danny Boyle of all people for a little bit.
Yeah, that's another thing too. She got weird ass taste. Like
weird ass. Yeah, she went from Danny Boyle to Eric Andre to then Cory Booker, right?
Yeah. The dude that's in
the senator,
a politician or something.
Senator. Yeah. Politician is better. Yeah, instead of me getting the wrong term, but Jungle Fever. You had to get. You had to
light skin Bull Buchanan.
We're not going back there. We're just moving on to Jungle Fever.
I'll try to get away from Jungle Fever because people gonna try to accuse me as to why I like this movie.
But you,
I like the song and Gator.
I remember watching the trailer just one time on YouTube a couple years ago, and the song's like, I got you. Like, isn't that what it is? Like Jungle Fever, she's got jungle. It's like, god damn, like this is
ain't gonna make me
good.
sing it, but remember Carlton sung it in that one episode of Fresh Prince because the aunt got married.
But yeah, Samuel Jackson again, because fam always has to say it like every 4 or 5 black wrestlers is I smoked the TV. Again, crack is rampant.
Because have you never seen it, right?
Like I said, I haven't seen it. I've just seen the trailer, but I know I think he says that even in the trailer.
You got to watch a lot of these movies, but yeah, that's Wesley Snipes' brother in the movie, and
yeah,
so
I know that. Yeah,
he goes to the parents' house talking about the TV, and then he does this jig, like to scare the parents, like he under a spell, and the pops that was in he was in Do the Right Thing. I forgot his name. No actor.
Oh yeah,
Ozzie Newsome.
Ozzie Davis.
I forgot his name. Yeah, Ozzie
Davis.
Ozzie Newsome.
I think that's someone else.
Yeah, no, that's a coach, if I'm not mistaken. So
GM.
Yeah, and he
Of
shot the
of the
shit out
Ravens.
of Gator
Cuts to
leg.
Baltimore.
So yeah, he shot Gator leg. You know, it's not attempted murder if you shoot below the waist. So I mean, he had no choice. But
Yeah,
otherwise than that, you know the plot. Everybody, you know, it's
it's
about
the
Josh.
term. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's about
God,
Josh.
dude.
Jungle Fever Candle coming soon. It's gonna be
Reggae
him and
Fever.
Jordan Grace. Yeah, right. Starring Jordan Grace.
I wish we could call the episode that. Uh,
We can,
Sh-
but you know,
Shabba
if Mandy
Fever.
Rose trying to remake this movie with me, then you know,
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a thing that had a stigma at the time, particularly in the '90s. It was a bigger deal, right? Black men, white women. Since carried over the 2000s is a bigger deal. Now, I'd say even though in my eyes it shouldn't be, but to some people it is. I just say love who you love. It doesn't matter what's color their skin are, what color their skin is, or their gender is. Just love who you want to love. Ain't no one should tell you who not to. And anyone can have their type. Because I was listening to Patrice O'Neal stand up. He's like, yeah, I don't date white women. He's like, because you do what you know how to hunt. He's like, black women, I know how to get black women. His whole bit about that was pretty good. He's like, you gotta come at black women with a stick. Be like, but you couldn't fix your wig before you came outside? And she's like, motherfucker, what you say? He's like, oh, I'm sorry. You're so beautiful. I was just trying to break the ice. And I'm like, all right, P, if we could bring anyone back from the dead to talk to, Patrice O'Neal would be number one.
absolutely legend, bro.
Just because it would be
right.
about it would be about movies, like because if you look up him, he's talking about like the Rocky movies and all that. Like I wonder what Patrice O'Neal would think of the Creed movies now, and all that, and anything else that's come out in the last, like Get Out. He'd probably be like, they finally made it, the movie where the black people are right the whole time in the horror movie, like.
And the punchline to be great. The build up would be great. The punchline would be greater. But you know, no, you're absolutely right about that. Love who you want to love. So, Mandy Rose, if you ever hear this, understand.
Number 7, I almost was gonna have to swap this out because I'm not really sure. The Boondock Saints. This is a movie my dad showed me, and this is kind of like a trace to my Irish ancestors. You know, the Finn Balor, type of fuck you type of. But again, it's a Boston movie because all people from Ireland migrate to Boston. Shouts to Ben Affleck, sad boy king, living life. Shouts to the GOAT John Cena. We'll get to that in 2 weeks. Don't forget, September 25th. We may or may go live that day on the YouTube. Banks versus Davis. 3 hours of John Cena praise. It's the first episode we ever did together. We were talking about John Cena. It didn't have a name at that time. We then they called us Madmen. I deaded that because I hated the name, and I think people confused us with a Madman podcast, which I had to stop that as well because I've never seen a fucking single episode of that show. Banks versus Davis, the name made much more sense, and it's easier to brand BVD than TCUM, as people would type out. They called us Madmen. So again, anyone who was wondering, but yeah, we're keeping that date because that's the origin of the show. You could have a different name every fucking year. It doesn't matter. You're still going to hear the same two voices, but stay tuned. 2 weeks. John Cena praise. The movies, the music, the matches, the promos, the fits, everything. 2 weeks.
Subscribe on YouTube, bitch.
Yeah. Boondock Saints. One of like the ultimate type of Pulp Fiction ripoffs is this movie. There was the time where after Pulp Fiction, everyone in Hollywood wanted that version of that, and this is really close with how it plays. It shows you what happens after it's happened. Mainly the big action scenes and all that. Again, always think we're like two people seek vengeance or like two people with guns. This is Norman Reedus' breakout role. Willem Dafoe has a great performance in it. This is a movie my dad and I quote to each other constantly, and it's again it was one of the big cult DVD things. That was the thing that in the 90s VHS was taking over. Late 90s DVD is incoming because starting in the 2000s it's you are not having to replace your VHSs with DVDs, and this became more like the fastest selling DVDs and it sold more on DVD than it made in the box office. But I recommend it. The sequel, it's got some moments, but this is good. And yeah, I mean, it's probably not for everyone, but it's one of my favorites. Like, so it's a thing I share with my dad, and with my dad and mom being, you know, who they were in their different, being two different types of people and their different tastes. That kind of shaped like the weird taste I have, my own individual taste. But like I said, I associate this movie with my dad, like how I would associate like kind of Clueless more with my mom than my dad. But again, I like it. It's just a great movie. Again, the action and even though I'm not a religious person, the Catholicness of it, I can like for the time being, with the beads and the prayer before they execute people is dope. But yeah, what do you got?
You want to talk about William Dafoe being a freak bull? How you got
in the movie
house
or in real life?
Yeah, take your pick.
No, I'm just saying in real life.
Okay, he was at the door.
I'm just saying in real life. The rumor is in real life. It's like.
Explain.
Like he's packing in real life is the rumor.
I beg your pardon?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
You know what I mean?
No, because in the 90s, I'm packing mean two things. I don't know which way you going with this, Davis.
You know how Dwayne Johnson's be like and everything relates to down there?
I'm out of here.
All right, so Banks has the Water Boy. I actually like the Water Boy. We didn't talk about this on our football movie thing. That's why I think you were allowed to pick it. We kind of skipped over it. Even though it actually is a pretty good football movie.
Bro, but it's Water Boy. How do you even... like, at this point with these movies, I kind of could just go through it. You know what I mean? With the Water Boy... What the Big Show is Captain Insano. What more do I need to...
I remember I saw this probably in 2005. My dad showed it to me, and I was like, oh, The Big Show. I think my dad had to point it out to me, too, but I was like, wow. It's like...
Captain Insano shows numbers.
After he pokes him in the eye, Captain Insano shows numbers. And the whole, like... an all-time, like, Kathy Bates, again, doing it for the money, but she delivers in her scenes. Bobby! Did they ever find out that gorilla that escaped the zoo and beat you up? And she puts the posters... Vicky Valancourt, Fairuza Balk, I think kind of shaped the women, a certain taste of women I have, kind of the gothiness.
You as well.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to admit, like, as much as my whole thing is like women. Shouts to Antonio because one time he made a joke like, because we were all like talking about like our types. I'm like my type, any type, and yeah, their type is women. I'm like, yeah, like they can be from wherever. I could just be attracted to them for any different type of reason. But like the gothy type of look that she would later on have, like in The Craft. Yeah. But like I said, 90s Adam Sandler's phenomenal. Mr. D, oh no, Big Daddy, Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, The Water Boy. Adam Sandler in the 90s was unstoppable. And actually like gave a shit, I think. And was good. It wasn't like in the 2000s where it's like the paycheck was coming.
Yeah, but even in the mid 2000s and the 2010s, it was kind of like he was in cruise control at that point because the checks kept flowing in. Like Jack and Jill and Rewind and all that shit.
Never seen it. Click? You mean Click?
Yeah, Click. I went to the movies to see that shit. I actually like that movie.
Wow. I saw that on bootleg. That was one of the first bootlegs I remember watching.
Shouts out to Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah. British Prussia. Prussia, indeed, based on how their accent is.
Listen, we talk about overseas. We talk about the UK all the time. I feel like my wives are in the UK and I'm stuck over here.
London Bridge, indeed, love. London Bridge. Again, Henry Winkler is great in this movie as the coach.
When he showed that tattoo, that tramp stamp.
What mama don't know, don't hurt her, or whatever he said. You ever had a threesome?
No, verbatim, that's what he said.
Yeah. You ever had a threesome, Bobby? Yeah, I had a threesome with my mama and coach last night. And the one girl's like into it, the other one's like, nuh-uh.
Right. They was in Louisiana too. I thought I was gonna see Rocky.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, it has the great thing at the end of with Lynn Swan when she keeps like dead staring Lynn Swan. And that's high quality H2O. Him tackling fuel is great, like a great saying like that. There's shit on the timeline that I see that gives me tackling fuel, like. But
Lawrence Taylor was in that movie, right?
yeah, and he said, "What do you say?
I ain't repeating
Don't
it, but
smoke crack." Because that was she had
Bobby Boucher.
She
attributes
souped
to
up.
Taylor.
She souped up the lawnmower, he was hitting the nos blood in the lawnmower.
Yo, remember that? And we'll get past this. I ain't gonna hold this up too long because we
No, no, what?
I'm
When he
down to
kicked
my
the
last two
KKK head?
movies. No, that was phenomenal.
That was phenomenal.
They need to show that every day. I'm talking
Yeah.
about the scene with the goddamn snake that they was cooking, or the moms was cooking.
Oh, he's like, I brought over a gator or whatever. The guy with the one eye is like, but it's Shawn Michaels' eyes like, cool.
And then she had that. Remember when Vicky Valancourt came to the crib? She had that snake. I think that's what they was eating. Yeah, big ass piece of snake.
They were eating snake or gator. Yeah, they were eating. Yeah.
Well, that's real. That's real life in Louisiana. But
That's real life. Cajun. Yeah. Crawfishing.
Yeah.
All right, I got I got a movie, and this is kind of do a brief segue. I rewatched it today. The Matrix. When we did the action movie draft, I remember I think said that I would have picked this, but I classify it more as sci-fi, even though it has some of the best shootouts and hand-to-hand combat ever filmed. Again, shot by the legendary Bill Pope, who, as I said last week, was the director of photography for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, as well as Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies, Baby Driver, etc. But this movie, and this will kind of segue into the trailer that was released when you and I will talk about that briefly. What did you think? Because you actually got to see like the hype around this movie happen. You're 10 years old at this point, 10 to 11 years old. Were you like excited for it?
Yeah, but I didn't know what the fuck was going on like everybody else.
I was about to ask. Did you see it in the theater by chance?
Nah, I forgot how I even seen this movie. I think the bootleg. I had the bootleg.
Okay.
When it first came out. That ain't the second Matrix movie.
That's what I was gonna say. So all right, so this will segue, and then I'll get back to what I like about the movie bit. So they made the Matrix, then they did the Matrix Reloaded, and then they did the Matrix Revolutions, and now this week we saw the trailer for the Matrix Resurrections. The amount of like R words they're looking up in the dictionary.
I beg your pardon.
Don't do that. Come on, don't do that. That was cheap. Don't do that.
The amount of R, 3 R's, triple R's. They keep going with that.
Well, Resurrections is the way of like saying Matrix the reboot. Which, do you remember when like, a couple years ago they said like Michael B. Jordan was going to be young Morpheus, and then like they shit canned that. No, they shit canned that idea and like, no, we're just going to get everyone back.
But this is the reboot.
No, but I'm saying like they were like, they're like we're gonna get everyone back except the guy who we're gonna make the young movie about.
Here, all right. So you want my tinfoil hat to be on? Why is it they keep wanting to replace Larry Fishburne?
I don't know. Larry Fishburne. Funny enough, he'll be in the next movie.
You said Lawrence? It's Larry, right?
No, I said Larry. Well, I say Lawrence or Larry.
Yeah. No, say Larry, even though that's disrespectful. He said he gets people get heat when they say that.
Or I'll say this. I'll say Lawrence with a U because that's how it's spelled. Lawrence with a U. Fishburne is one of my favorite all-time actors. He kills it in everything. I mean, I've never seen What's Love Got to Do with It, but I know he's like the devil in that movie.
Okay, that's another movie that should be on the list.
Don't do that. Don't change your mind now. Boys in the Hood, which didn't make it of our list, but it's a great honorable mention. John Singleton, again, in Furious Styles, all-time movie character. He was supposed to be Jules Winfield in Pulp Fiction. Do you know that? That was Quentin Tarantino's first choice because of King of New York, which we'll get to him in a couple minutes. But he's even good in the shitty movie Biker Boys as Smoke. Great on the TV show Hannibal. I just like seeing Lawrence Fishburne, Larry Fishburne, Lawrence of EU, and everything. He's great as Morpheus. He just has this presence and all that, but like they don't bring him back. They get Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, which I'm a fan of. Shouts to him. He's dope. I haven't seen the newest Candyman, but he's great in Aquaman.
Don't watch Candyman, and I'm hating on him. Me and him beefing.
Why is that? He's great in Watchmen as well. He was great on that.
I see all the women that's talking about him.
Bitter.
Okay.
I
can get beanies too.
You can have KD beanies when you roll them all the way up.
I can get the Marvin Gaye beanies as well. I'm smart. I can do things.
But yeah, so the trailer came out. The idea makes sense. The idea of the first one is the internet is gonna take over our lives, which it has. That's how we're doing the show. We are living in this show is the Matrix. It's our Matrix. When we are done recording, we go back to reality. Don't do the Timba. I think I know. I know I'm preaching to you, and you're like, "That's my guy."
December 22nd, or around that time where we record the episode, bruh. Between that and Spider-Man, the multiverse shit,
Spider-Man
I'm really gonna
and
be.
the Kingsman.
There's gonna be a board behind me explaining everything.
But so the whole point of that is like our phones have taken over our lives. We can't stop staring at our phones. Neo's the only person in reality. I mean, in that world that's not looking at his phone is what the trailer's showing us. He runs into Trinity, feels like a connection, and they'd be like, "Have we met before?" Even though she's our British accent, I just like saying stuff like that in a British accent. And he's like, "I don't know," because Keanu Reeves is just like, "Nah." In reality, like that's how he talks. Whoa. But
because this takes place in the same universe as Bill and Ted.
You said John Wick on an episode earlier this year. It might have been, or last year. It was a thing it was really when the whole point of the title they called us Mad Men was really for us like foreshadow shit that was gonna happen, and more or less it kind of did and didn't. But either way, like your whole thing, like I think my idea is like every week we gotta like make a bold claim of like whether it happens or not. And you're like, oh, the Matrix 4 is gonna be taking place in the John Wick universe, and I was like, God damn, this man is crazy.
So you want to tell me they can't see
he has the
hair off of him?
He has the hair,
and
he has the hair. He has the patchy beard. Again, I know Kung Fu. He knows how to use guns again because Chad Stahelski worked on the Matrix trilogy. That's how he was able to make John Wick. It's because he had this cachet from being a legendary stunt and second unit director, stunt choreographer, and second unit director, along with David Leitch. I think he also might have been Keanu Reeves' stand-in for Neo, if I'm not mistaken, because they are similar build. Because he was Brandon Lee's stand-in for The Crow. But yeah, in the trailer, it's not telling you a lot, but from the vibe I'm getting, I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. I don't think it'd be, I've been saying a lot of stuff's going to look good. F9 looked good. It wasn't. So maybe this will follow that. But I've like when she's like, follow the White Rabbit, I'm like, oh yeah, that's Jessica Henwick, the girl from Iron Fist and Game of Thrones. Like I forgot that she was in this movie. And they got a lot of the. It's just the lone. Let me see which Wachowski is. It's just the lone Wachowski that, the Matrix,
which worries me in a little bit.
I am as well. Yeah.
Also, I read some. I won't spoil it here, but I read some things about it that leaked out, and they said this person that leaked it out is usually on the money, so it's not going to be as serious as people think it's going to be.
Oh, you mean like the trailer? Yeah, the trailer makes it think like it's going to be a Black Mirror episode with actual gunfights. Like our phones, they're controlling us. What's the reality? Again, the trailer ends with like you're back in the Matrix. Jonathan Groff, as from the TV show Glee, looks like he'll be playing the villain of this movie, kind of, which makes sense because he kind of has that face of like, oh, just when I see your face, fucking hate you. But it's just Lana Wachowski. Lily Wachowski was not part of the team in terms of writing the script or directing it, because Wachowski's directed and wrote the other three films together, and were responsible. Again, they were able to get this movie made because they had a full storyboarded script to sell to Warner Brothers. So like, this is what we have. So like, you're buying what we're gonna make. Like, it's legit. All this, because the idea was, again, too high concept. Will Smith passed on it because he didn't understand it, and like, thankfully he did, because I think it would have been bad if he was in it.
Yeah, and Val Kilmer was supposed to play Morpheus, which still would have probably been pretty good.
No, I think that would have been bad. You had to have like Lawrence Fishburne's coolness as Morpheus. Val Kilmer
is cool, but he's a little too artsy too.
Not in that. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, Lawrence Fishburne could be artsy and cool. Val Kilmer, I don't think he could pull out that kind of cool. Like I said, the original, I rewatched it today. I had it on just so I could and again, the fight scenes are great when him and Morpheus are in the simulator and they fight. It's phenomenal. It's probably got the best 30 minutes of a movie, when they rescue Morpheus and it's him versus Agent Smith and he dodges the bullets and then stops the bullets with his hand. That whole final sequence is phenomenal. Cinematography, the production design, all the clothes, the real like decor of everything. It has the great Chappelle Show skit of like, what happens real movies. I mean, it's Earl. Need your statement. It's like, dude, oh, you got me. Hello, Neo. But do you like The Matrix?
Love it. First and second one. The third one I didn't like so much.
Yeah, I didn't want to get too much into that. The first could stand on its own. There are parts of the second and third that are good. That's when their idea really overtakes the action they're showcasing. Whereas like, it's phenomenal action set pieces they've built around this messy, overly convoluted story about what's real, what you can and can't do, what this says about reality, mortality, everything. But I get it. They had a big grand idea, and that's why they later on, the Wachowskis went on to make Cloud Atlas, a movie I've never seen, but I know it's like the ultimate like high concept idea.
They put way too much dip on the chip for that movie. So
yeah,
I watched that shit.
And they had that show. I didn't watch it on Netflix, but Sense8, and that was the whole thing where like 8 people could live. 8 people like shared the same life or something like that, or like could see through each other's eyes. They were all connected somehow. And they casted people from that show and put them in this movie. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to Resurrections. I like the first Matrix. I remember seeing it just being like blown away. But again, it was a movie that I had seen spoiled before, because Bullet Time was ripped off in Scary Movie 2, right? Yeah, I think that's where
everybody was kind of copying it, but Scary Movie,
everyone was ripping off
of it. Yeah,
everyone was ripping off the bullet time and slow motionness, dodging bullets. But yeah, all right. So what do you have next? Oh yeah, King of New York. Yeah, segue into Lawrence Fishburne, Larry Fishburne.
Right. We saying his name, so hopefully it's not an omen. So I
would like to talk to Larry.
Be
Fishburne,
quick
though.
with my last 2 picks. You said what?
I would like to talk to Larry Fishburne, though. I think it'd be a great guest.
Just don't call him Larry. That's the only thing, because he hates it. I'll go through my last 2 picks pretty fast, just because I'll just tell you to watch these movies. The last one is just ridiculous. I don't really know how to explain Vampire's Kiss, but with King of New York, it's about Frank White. It's him, it's Christopher Walken. Larry, I forgot his character's name, but he's an asshole in it. I think it's based on a true story as well. Let me make sure.
I don't remember everything in that, but or like it might be one of those where it's inspired by like a true story, where they took real life elements and made it into a movie. It's probably not someone's entire life as much as it's a bunch of stories, or is it?
Let me make sure. Drug kingpin is released in prison and seeks to take control of the criminal underworld. Yeah, and Christopher Walken played Frank White, who was a known gangster.
Okay,
and
so
what's his name was in this as well? See,
Yeah, as I say,
three-
I think him and David Caruso are the cops trying to take Christopher Walken. Now, again, David Caruso from CSI Miami, he was on the show NYPD Blue, left the show when that was at the height of its popularity to go become a movie star, partly because of this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. With this one, I haven't seen this since probably 2011, 2012, but yeah, definitely watch this one as well.
I
It's
slept
only
on
an hour
Gangster
and
Film.
43 minutes. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, you're kind of breaking up, but like I said,
East Coast people on this.
Oh yeah, well, it's a movie that takes place in New York, so yeah. Yeah, Abel Ferrara directed it, and he's like notorious auteur director. He did Bad Lieutenant with Harvey Keitel, and that has its own like crazy over the top things going on. But yeah, and then I have Basic Instinct. I've kind of talked about this movie before. It's to me like the ultimate noir, modern noir. You know, bad cop or a guy who's a cop and a bad person has to solve a crime. But again, the woman who is the femme fatale is the one who is, you know, pulling his strings, pulling everyone's strings, and he's like, I can see through it, but again, he still falls for it. It's a movie about like addiction, sex addiction, because he's just like so into her, and she just feeds off of everyone knowing that they want her. It's directed by Paul Verhoeven, who did RoboCop, Total Recall, Starship Troopers. So it's got his style. It's got a Joe Esterhaus script, and again, Joe Esterhaus script was notorious for having sex and violence. Again, the opening scene of the movie is a guy being ridden by a woman, and then as he's climaxing, she stabs him to death, and I'm like, that's my type of shit right there. Which I know it says a lot about me, but like I said, it's a movie where we're getting like
you're
six.
A freak bull.
Yeah, I'm like, no, it's like this shows like the demon side of Davis. I ain't gonna lie, like this legit shows, like I said, like when she's like, "Have you ever fucked on cocaine?" and he looks at her, and then she looks at him, and I'm like, I haven't, but what is that like? Ask Sean Mulaney, maybe he knows.
Like somebody going in cardiac arrest. I ain't gonna hold you.
But yeah, it takes place in San Francisco too, so it has that great cinematography of like cliffs and the ocean and up and down streets. They have a great like car chase and all that. But like I said, it's on HBO Max. I rewatched it recently. It's a movie I'll just always. It's a weird movie to love and want to rewatch, and the plot doesn't matter too much. Is like it's a great Sharon Stone performance. The twists or like the lack thereof, it's pretty much straightforward. Michael Douglas is good. I highly recommend. I can go on and on about this movie. I probably will at another time, but watch Basic Instinct.
That's because you're a freak bull.
Yeah. I'm not afraid to admit that. At times I am, but right now I'm not.
All right, so this last movie, in short, listen, I feel like they didn't have the script. If they did have one, Nicolas Cage tore that motherfucker up and said, nah, I'm just going to say whatever. The basic plot is, and it's really no plot, but the basic plot that says it on IMDb and on Wikipedia is a man that it's a Playboy-esque type person. I'm not saying it verbatim. He is sleeping around with a woman he's in love with, but somehow this one woman essentially puts a spell on him. That's where the name Vampire's Kiss come from. Do they really say she's a vampire? No, but she's a vampire, even though it's in the name. I'm trying to explain this movie the best I can. Why do I like this movie? Because it's utter ridiculous. It's one of the funniest fucking movies of all time. And I don't think it was supposed to be, but when I tell you this shit is hilarious, it's hilarious. Just think of Nicolas Cage on 20. You know how in other movies.
It's the Nicolas Cage meme. It's that.
Yeah.
Right?
But him just freaking every scene, this motherfucker is going crazy.
There's probably no one. Again, the legendary Jim Norton, Patrice O'Neal face-off clip. no one has probably tricked everyone into thinking that he was a good actor than Nicolas Cage, because I don't like he probably never really was. He probably just tricked people. And again, it might have to do with the fact that he is a Coppola, even though he doesn't put it in his stage name, but he is. But yeah, his over the top wackiness, it's a killer of his own career. I bet. I mean, Face. I mean, a movie that we'll talk to now. We're mentioning. Yeah, we're trying to wrap this up, so the last 30 minutes can be us just shouting out other movies that didn't make our list. But Vampires Kiss, like I said, I've never seen it. I'll never see it. I don't like seeking out bad movies. I've told you this countless times. When you're like, watch Money Plane, I'm like, fuck you. I won't watch this movie. But you're like, I hate Edge, but you gotta watch this movie. I won't. Final one. That Thing You Do. To me, this movie is a legit Oscar movie. It's got Tom Hanks directing in it, and he's a supporting character. But it's the story of a fictional band in it's either the 50s or the 60s that have once hit song, That Thing You Do. And it takes them again, like it elevates them to fame and all that. By the time they have to make a second song, that all falls apart. And it's like the story of like that happened a lot in the 50s and 60s. One band or one artist would have a hit song that took them all over the world for 1 year, and then they were gone, forgotten history. But it's a beautiful story about, again, selling out, kind of growing up, achieving something when aspiring to be something like the lead character played by Tom Everett Scott, who's a guy that should have had a bigger career in Hollywood, but didn't. He's Guy Patterson, this drummer, but he's working in his dad's appliance store during the day. But he, at night he's playing drums in the basement. It's a very like aspirational type of movie, and the love story element's good, and it's just shot really well by Tak Fujimoto, who shot Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Silence of the Lambs, which we'll get to. Again, that's another honorable mention that we haven't listed. But like I said, to me, just this has everything. It's a prestige picture without being a prestige picture. Like, I don't know how the Oscars didn't nominate it when it kind of has every little element of all the performances are great. Steve Zahn is great, and it has the comedic relief. And yeah, it's a movie, again, my mom showed me, and it's a movie that we shared together. And it was on HBO Max last year. I don't know where it is available at the moment. But yeah, it's really good. And the song is catchy. It's one of the best fictional movie songs of all time, yeah. Just a really well-made movie. And Tom Hanks will later go on to make other stuff, but this was his directorial debut, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, I haven't seen it. I gotta check that out.
So right now I have a list, and I'm just kind of going to read off. It's IMDb's feature films released from January 1st, 1990 to December 31st, 1999. As of right now, it's in popular order, but I'm just going to shout out some. So She's All That. That's because the He's All That was released, but any thoughts on He's All That? I mean, She's All That.
I haven't seen that in years. I don't know why I kept thinking about the movie with the little kid that got stung by the bee.
Oh, that's My Girl. But She's All That. Shouts to Freddie Prinze Jr. Always liked him. R.I.P. Paul Walker, because he's in that. I always think of
that shit now.
Yeah. I always think of the song Kiss Me by Sixpence None the Richer whenever I think of that movie and hear that song. Candyman. I haven't seen the original Candyman.
Watch it.
Okay.
It's way better than this bullshit that just came out.
The Shawshank Redemption. Really good.
Phenomenal.
I think it's a movie older people love, but it's still Morgan Freeman, great. Tombstone, only seen it once, but I liked it. The Matrix talked about that. Jurassic Park. What do you think of Jurassic Park?
One of the greatest fucking movies ever made, and I'm not even a huge Steven Spielberg fan.
See, I can't remember the last time I watched it from start to finish. I don't think I ever really have, as far as I can remember. That and the second one. I remember watching the third a couple times. The Lost World. The Lost World, right?
Bruh, you'll never know the feeling of watching that shit on VHS. Yes, kids, VHS. And that motherfucking T-Rex just show up. So I can imagine how I was in the movie theater.
Oh, at the end?
I need to see that in 4K.
When it saves them?
No. At the end to show up to kill the other ones. Remember when they first showed up at the gate? when they were stuck.
Oh, must go faster. Must go faster.
Yeah, and then at the end, what man said, "You son of a bitch, you did it." Or towards the end when they was racing past the other raptor.
Yeah, but Jurassic Park again. I'm not really a big dinosaur person. I do like I do like Jurassic World a lot though.
You don't like dinosaurs, man?
No. Maybe it's because that movie Dinosaur freaked the fuck out of me as a kid. The animated one. I saw that in the theater and that shit scared me.
Which one? Again, my fault.
Just Dinosaur. It was a Disney movie. It was completely computer generated, and they had like the lemurs and.
Oh, that shit was trash.
Yeah, it scared. I saw my mom took me to the theater to see that. I remember, and I was like 6. It was so loud.
Before time scares you.
No. With Spike. That's right, Spike.
And Littlefoot.
The Littlefoot. All right, so 101 Dalmatians. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Forrest Gump. What do you think of Forrest Gump, real quick? Bad movie or good
movies of all time? No.
Okay.
Phenomenal. Masterpiece.
What do you know? Like people say it's like a bad movie.
They don't know shit about movies.
I like Forrest Gump. I do like how him being connected to all these points in history. I find that pretty funny.
That's what's so great about it. Like, you know what I mean? He on the spectrum and he going through all this shit. I
gotta pee when he meets JFK.
Bro, like motherfucker, I ain't getting hit. You gonna get popped. I'm gonna get up out of here real quick. He Watergate. He was like, I think something going on. Some people.
Jenny Gump is probably the worst fictional character ever created. She just treats this man like trash, and he forgives her because he doesn't. Legit. I don't want to call it that, but no, because he doesn't know any better. I mean, but again, she took his virginity, so at least he was. At least that's kind of a sweet, touching scene.
No, she set him up.
He invents Elvis. Funny enough, because Elvis steals his little hip swivel and all that. Elvis stole that from him, and then he stole everything Chuck Berry did
from the blacks. Exactly. See how that works.
Pulp Fiction, Titanic. Never seen Titanic.
Fuck that. Hey, I got a bad story about that goddamn movie. You see how my voice got high? My mom made me go see that shit at the Magic Johnson Theaters over on Crenshaw. Everybody thinks everything in South Central is Crenshaw, but this is actually on Crenshaw and King. Fuck that movie. Fuck that intermission. Fuck that fucking. I was about to say some wild shit. Fuck being on the board. I ain't gonna freeze to death. You go in the goddamn water. I got shit to do tomorrow.
Yeah, I will say I don't like young Leonardo DiCaprio. I like Leonardo. So probably Gangs of New York is when I start to like Leonardo DiCaprio. It's like this.
You don't like Men in the Iron Mask?
I've only seen parts of it. Basketball Diaries, he's good in, but I mean, I don't. What I'm saying is, I don't like the teen women like, oh, Leonardo DiCaprio in Titanic or Romeo plus Juliet. Nah, fuck all that.
That was his HBK run. He was old HBK. New HBK as he got older.
Goodfellas mentioned. Fight Club. Again, talk about a movie that spoke. That's a movie that now lives up to don't buy into consumerism.
Hey, overrated movie, but I feel you.
Ooh, I haven't watched it in a while, but I liked it. The twist did freak me out. And I didn't see that come. Don't you spend your David Fincher?
Yeah, he tricked y'all.
Don't you dare say that.
He filmed a bunch of nothing. He tricked y'all.
Next up is Seven, and don't you dare. No, David Fincher is a phenomenal director. Don't you ever.
He tricked y'all. If you take him away from that movie, and it's just all three of those people being the main stars, we'll get rid of Kevin Spacey, but for reasons outside of filming. Yeah, but David Fincher tricked y'all. He is as good as his cast. He's as good as his stars.
David Fincher directed the Freedom 90 video, the song by George Michael. When we get into 90s music next week, that song fucking flames. And he directed that video.
Hey, what you just said is George Michael, bruh. I was listening to Wham before I seen that goddamn video.
All we have to do is take these lies.
He got Hall of Famers that he's directing, bro. We could do this shit without you.
All right,
of course, you need a good coach, but come on.
So you slandered David. You slandered. I'm gonna punch you in the fucking face when I see you. It won't be next month, unfortunately. No, it won't be later this month. That unfortunately won't be taking place.
No, that's gonna happen. But go ahead.
No, because plans are changed with the rest of the guys. So that won't be happening, unfortunately. The Dazed and Confused, I saw it. Ben Affleck's good when he's like, "You're fucking dead." But I just think it's kind of I just think it's kind of an overrated movie from what I can remember. The Mummy, great blockbuster, the epitome of like a Hollywood blockbuster. Like I said, Brendan Fraser, The Big Lebowski. I like The Big Lebowski.
I only seen it one time.
Silence of the Lambs, great.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. Heat, already mentioned. Eyes Wide Shut, only seen it once. I liked it, but it's a movie.
You don't need to see it again.
I should run it back, but yeah. American Pie, great comedy, great 90s teen raunchy. The super bad of the 90s is basically what it is.
Yeah.
Schindler's List, never seen it.
I seen it when I was a kid. I don't. It doesn't relate to me. I understand what it did for him, and anybody associated with him, but it don't work for me in no disrespectful way.
Yeah. Boogie Nights, only seen it once. It was good. It was really good. I could see why it has this, but like
that took him to where he is now. Marky Mark.
Oh yeah, no, it did for sure. And Paul Thomas Anderson as well. That was his second feature film. And then he went on to do There Will Be Blood, The Master, and all that. Major Pain. I was shocked you didn't have this on your list. But
it's too many movies, and
yeah.
Off the top of my head, I had to go with it. But no, Major Pain is another one that's on my list.
Here's what it says: Major Pain, 1995. Director Nick Castle. Stars Damon Wayans, Michael Ironside, Bam Bam Bigelow. Shouts to Bam Bam Bigelow.
And that's how I got into wrestling, because I seen that movie.
Like you told that story before when we did our top 15 workers. He was on there, and you told that story of watching Major Pain. 25, Clueless, already mentioned. The Green Mile. R.I.P. Michael Clark Duncan. Phenomenal actor, taken too soon. I've seen it once. It was a good movie. It was really depressing, but a good movie.
I'm tired, boss. That's me every day. I'm tired, boss.
Again, it's the same team. It's Frank Darabont directing a Stephen King script with, book, which is what Shawshank Redemption is. So those two are very similar. Leon, aka The Professional, only saw like the first 20 minutes.
I seen it in 2013. I forgot Gary Oldman's line though.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't. Oh,
it's something like that.
Good Will Hunting. Haven't run it back in a while. Again, really depressing movie.
Is it?
Do you have any thoughts? It is. Because again, he's pretty much an orphan, him being abused, and then the Robin Williams side, Ben Affleck being like, his wife dying, and then
he had bad luck in movies with his wife. Because remember that movie where he had to go see Cuban Gooding in heaven?
Don't you talk about What Dreams May Come. Don't you dare bring up don't you dare. God, my mom showed that to me, and I was like, what is this movie about? I'm 10 years old.
Yeah, no, that shit freaked me out. I can't even watch it to this day. The freakiest thing about it is he was simping so much he wanted to go get his wife from hell. You know how simping you gotta be?
He has to go to hell, and then he sees his kids living their life, and like I think one of them kills himself or something. It's oh god.
I'm like, yo, the 90s did not give a fuck with movies, yo.
I think that might be early 2000s. That might be like 2000 or 2001.
You're right, but I don't give a goddamn if it was 2025. Like, goddamn, everything don't need to be said.
There's Dracula, which is Bram Stoker's Dracula, aka Francis Ford Coppola's. I haven't seen it. I think it's on HBO right now, but I haven't seen it.
Gary Oldman had a big ass head.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah. Saving Private Ryan, really good. That opening scene, yeah. Them storming the beach
in Norway,
yeah. And the ending, yeah.
And Diesel had hair.
Yeah, Vin Diesel. Rough ending, but a great movie. American Beauty, never seen it.
Me neither.
Pretty Woman, never seen it.
Me neither.
But again, Chappelle Show, you need to get the fuck out of here.
Shit. You need to get the fuck out of here.
The Usual Suspects, because I had seen it parodied everywhere else. The twist at the end, was spoiled for me. And from start to finish, I don't think it's that good of a movie.
It's not.
And doesn't have to do anything with Brian. And doesn't have to do anything with this combo of Bryan Singer and Kevin Spacey being the nastiest motherfuckers ever.
No, it's too
wrote the script.
It's too much of a sausage fest for me, bro. That's why I never got into that movie.
You know what? But 10 Things I Had. Oh no, The Game. Never seen The Game, but like you just said, David, but you're tricking us. Unless you were like The Game.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
The Game is with Ice-T, right? Who in that movie?
The Game is Sean Penn, Michael Douglas.
Oh, you could have passed after you said Sean Penn. I never liked Sean Penn.
Yeah. 10 Things I Hate About You. Like I said, that would have been my runner-up as my like a teen comedy choice. But that's a phenomenal movie, and was along with Clueless the start of like Hollywood taking Shakespeare stories and adapting them to teen comedies. Because in She's the Man, the next decade, they were on that.
Not
you can't do it now.
Yeah, because motherfuckers got cell phones. Y'all gonna be at the party and shit. You can't date in 2021 with a cell phone. They're gonna expose you. Like, yo, we was at a party, like, and then Dave was here. And he asked for some grape juice. I don't know.
Then we got Scream. Again, my mom spoiled the ending of this movie, but all I think about is Scary Movie.
God bless her because she did the right thing. Because Scream, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I like Scary Movie better than Scream. That shit's stupid, bro.
What do you do?
Hey,
doing? Just chilling, killing. He stabs Carmen Electra, takes her fucking silicone out. Shouts to Carmen Electra again. Probably third team all time pressure.
No, first.
No. Because do you count?
I knew Canadian milk was different. Canadian milk was different.
Because but it's still enhanced. Do we count it? Yes or no? I mean, again, her and Dennis Rodman.
Listen. We in 2021. All right. So use your imagination. I'll be looking at Sweetie. What the hell does that tell you? How much I don't care?
That is true. But again, because when her in the Last Dance with her confessional. Goddamn, and then her in the archive footage with Dennis Rodman and his fucking NWO pants is like,
she still look the same.
Transport me to that, right? Like, take that woman and like transport her to me, like, right? Like, yeah. The Lion King. I mean, come on, it's the Lion King. Who doesn't love the Lion King?
Me.
Wow, really?
I like the soundtrack, but I never gave a fuck about the Lion King, even as a shorty. Because you know why? That fucking Sega Genesis game used to piss me off. I hate that fucking Sega Genesis game, bro.
There were a lot of Sega Genesis. There was Aladdin, Toy Story,
and all that shit was that fucking Aladdin, Lion King pissed me up. That shit was hard for no reason.
Right. True Romance. Never seen True Romance. It's on HBO, but that's also again a Tarantino script directed by Tony Scott, though.
Did True Lies come out in the 90s or that was the 80s?
We'll be getting to that, but yeah, it's the 90s. Terminator 2, Judgment Day, one of your favorite all-time movies. Great sequel. Reservoir Dogs, like I said, great movie. Kickstarted Tarantino's career. Okay, sorry. You know what? I ain't doing this. You got right now. Dances with Wolves. Skip. Romeo plus Juliet. Skip. Rush Hour.
Wait. No, you can't do that. Romeo plus Juliet was decent.
Don't do just because Harold Perrineau and John Leguizamo were eating that shit up. They were.
You know what it was? It was a long ass music video.
Yes, and that's why it sucks. Baz Luhrmann is a hack.
That shit looked like a Madonna music video the whole time, but it was more talent on the screen. So,
see, again, you don't like Reservoir Dogs, where they're like Madonna. All she's talking about is dicks.
That's the only line I like from it. And then the tipping the waiters, because you got to tip your waiters.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
they make these girls. They only learn how to fucking type. When Steve Buscemi's like, it's not my fault. Again, like I said, the Thing. You remember the Fantastic Four? Oh yeah, with that invisible bitch. and Flame On.
Hey, I'll tell you off air about a woman I was dating that like.
Don't you say that, invisible bitch. Oh, good.
No, it was Steve Buscemi.
Rush Hour. You want to see chemistry?
what I was
Watch
saying.
Chris Tucker. Watch Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan. That's chemistry that shouldn't make sense, but it does.
Yes,
And it really, it's like the Chris Tucker one man show and Jackie Chan doing all the great Jackie Chan shit that we know and love. But again, fuck Brett Ratner. The Talented Mr. Ripley, crazy movie.
Is that the
You ever
one when
seen-
Will Smith was being a freak bull?
That's when Matt Damon's being the one.
Oh yeah.
You're thinking
Wasn't
of
they and Badger Vance together?
yes.
Okay.
The Will
multiverse.
Smith one you're probably thinking of is 6 Degrees of Separation.
Yeah.
Point Break, phenomenal. Again,
Mhm.
was the Patient Zero, or the predecessor of the
Yeah,
Fast
you
and the
gotta
Furious.
stop saying patient just because of what's going on there.
Hocus Pocus. I don't give a fuck about Hocus
Classic.
Pocus, but I don't give a fuck about it.
You
Fifth
wasn't
Element.
a kid, that's all.
I remember
No.
seeing it on Disney Channel one time, but Fifth Element, yeah, you like Fifth Element. I know that.
Fifth Element is 7 out of 5. Okada review.
Don't you, Braveheart? Never saw
No.
past the
No.
first hour. All right, let's
Smart
get to
man.
that. Independence Day.
Phenomenal.
I don't fuck with disaster movies, like I said last week. Fuck Roland Emmerich.
Because you know why we living in one. But go ahead.
No, I just in general. You can't fight back you can't punch the elements. You're not gonna punch the wind, or like
He
Matt Hardy,
fucking socked the alien and said, "Welcome to Earth."
or like Matt Hardy's song says, "I can slap a tornado." Dur, 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 dur.
Try that. Your whole hand coming off.
Exactly. From Dusk Till Dawn, like I alluded to earlier. Shouts to Robert Rodriguez. Again, crazy twist when that happened. Devil's Advocate, crazy mindfuck the fuck of a movie. Keanu Reeves, and then Al Pacino's the devil. He hires out Keanu Reeves to be the lawyer.
You know the only. Yeah, if you're a lawyer, you definitely making deals with the devil. The only thing I remember from that movie is Keanu Reeves was being a freak bull because he wanted the mom and the daughter at the same damn time.
No. He wanted the woman. He was with Charlize Theron, and he wanted the woman who is Wonder Woman's mom. It says it right here, right? No, the mom in Wonder Woman.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought you got.
Yeah.
I was like, Wonder
Yeah.
Woman's mom.
And in Gladiator, and she's also in Gladiator.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about her. So
Yeah,
she
he
just
wanted to be with
typecast-
her. Yeah, but no, he didn't want the mom. No, the story was weird, but it's a weird movie. Yeah, it's a crazy fucking weird.
It's
Life is
Keanu
Very
Reeves,
Precious.
bro.
Oh yeah, Casino. Like I said, Scorsese as well. The Mask. You liked The Mask, didn't you?
Hey, 8 out of 5. Ibushi.
Ibushi.
Ibushi. Not Ibushi. I'm sorry. Ibushi.
Ibachi is what you almost. I mean, if he keeps landing on that.
Want
neck.
some hibachi? I'm hungry.
The Mask. Yeah, I haven't run it back in a while. But Cameron
watched it
Diaz
2
in
weeks
that
ago.
movie. American History X.
Pressure.
Haven't seen it in a while, but it's really good. Even though again, one of the saddest
Fuck
endings.
that movie.
The Curb Stomp.
Oh no, hey, bro. I should be joking, but they for sure hit that man with the OG CT. That mean, but fuck American History X. You already know how I feel about that.
Yeah, Unforgiven. Haven't seen it.
Unforgiven. You talking about with Val Kilmer?
No, Clint Eastwood. Everything
What was
else.
the movie with Val Kilmer and them? The Western.
Tombstone. I already said that.
Yeah, Tombstone. Okay.
Tombstone's good. Like I said, I've only seen it once though, but I remember the one time I saw it, I thought it was really good.
What's the name? Got to be dead, right? I shouldn't say that, but
Who?
the main star. I forgot his name. The old man. At that point, he was old as shit.
Sam Elliott?
No. And Tombstone.
It's Tombstone was Kurt Russell. Oh, Bill Paxton's dead, and he was in that.
Hold on, I'll get back to you.
Yeah, you're probably. I mean, there's an older guy in the cast, but Home Alone. I don't really care about Home Alone.
No, 1 and 2.
The Rocketeer. Never seen it. The Lost
God
World,
damn, how
Jurassic
old is
Park.
Sam Elliott? Fucking like
Yeah,
80.
he's still alive because he was just in A Star Is Born, and he was great in that movie when he was like, "When I'm your fucking brother."
Let's see, he's
Cool.
73. He was Sacramento. Shit, that's unfortunate. He had no choice
He
but
is?
to act.
God
Yeah,
damn.
he had no choice but to act to get the fuck up out of Sacramento.
Mission Impossible '96, phenomenal. The Rock, '96 as well.
The Rock.
Welcome to the Rock. That's the only good thing about that movie. The
No,
Truman
stop
Show.
it. Stop it. Don't do that.
Come on.
Tombstone. The Rock is a great movie.
No. It's
You just
terrible.
hate it because who it's named after.
No. I think it's just like as a Michael Bay movie. I think it's poor. I've only saw it once. So I was like, I don't want to watch this ever again.
Yeah.
Truman Show. I
was
never
thinking about
finished it.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I was thinking about Unforgiven with Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman. No, Gene Hackman's still alive. Yeah.
How
I thought that's who you were talking about, but no, he's just retired. Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. Terrible. Last of the Mohicans. Really good. Sixth Sense. Again, the twist was spoiled before I could see it.
You said The Last of the Mohicans is good.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
You out your goddamn mind.
I didn't say great. I said good.
Wouldn't even give it good. You sat there and watched that shit. That movie fucking
Yes.
long for no reason.
It's less than 2 hours.
That's long for no reason. That movie
Come
should have
on.
been fucking an hour and 20.
No. Sixth Sense, and then Fargo. Fargo is good.
Yo,
Magnolia
that
is
movie
good.
freaked
I've
me
only
the
seen
fuck out.
what Fargo
Sixth
with the
Sense.
Wood Shepherd.
When I was a kid.
Oh, Sixth Sense.
No,
Oh yeah.
that fucked me up when I was a kid. Then I found out it was based on somebody.
Yeah.
Like that plot at the end, I said, "Oh no, fuck this shit."
Yeah, Magnolia, Space Jam. Again, Space Jam was almost going to make my list. I picked Mulan instead, but Space Jam.
We can't fly no more, Davis.
Starship Troopers. I haven't seen it in a while. I don't remember seeing parts. The Parent Trap, the Lindsay Lohan one. Thelma and Louise, Hook,
No.
Jackie Brown. I never saw Hook or all of it from.
No, I'm talking about Thelma and Louise. Hook is great.
Hook. Jackie Brown, Interview with a Vampire, Office Space, Stapler, and you met Stapler.
That shit is fucking hilarious.
When they beat up the fax or the copy machine.
Yeah, beat the dog shit
Con
out
Air.
there. Yeah.
Con Air, again, the most Michael Bay movie not made by Michael Bay.
Oh, Hillbilly, 7 out of 5.
Beethoven.
Phenomenal.
Speed. Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Cruel Intentions. Cruel Intentions has the best ending because it's set. There's no dialogue. The song Bittersweet Symphony by the band The Verve is playing, and it's basically a music video for the last 4 minutes. It's phenomenal. But overall, as a movie, it's a modern, at that time, modern adaptation of the Dangerous Liaisons, and I forget what the original title is. GoldenEye. I didn't see it at the time, but it's the legendary Nintendo 64 game. It's probably how people remember it. Then we got
Golden
yeah, that's the TV. Yeah, the Tina Turner song with
Yeah.
my golden eye.
No, never mind. Just go before I say
She
something.
was. Don't you dare say anything about I Turner. Don't you dare. I know that's where you're going.
Yeah, no, I Turner definitely had the golden eye. Every time he's precision with that hand.
Jumanji, another movie that would kind of freak me out as a kid a little bit, but good.
How? Oh, okay. I'm thinking like you was freaked out because the monkeys was on the goddamn police.
I think him getting, the realness of him getting sucked into the game scared me as a kid. Like that kind of and then he comes out. Again, Batman Forever, Kiss from a Rose is how you remember that movie.
No, I just watched that last week. I watched it at least 20 times in my life.
You sick freak.
But Kiss from a Rose is my favorite song of all time.
Yeah. The movie Kids, never seen it, but I know it's insane. Train Spotting, also never seen. Twister, I've only seen it once. But again, I don't like the elements.
I seen that as a kid. That shit was ridiculous.
Total Recall, never seen it.
Phenomenal.
Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery.
Classic.
Men in Black.
Classic.
All right, Slick. Matilda.
Classic.
I didn't like it. Again, it was a movie that just upset me as a kid. A Few Good Men. Only seen it once, but again, it's the you can't handle the truth, which then led to the John Cena JBL WrestleMania 21 promo.
Yeah, it was alright.
The Addams Family.
Classic.
I Know What You Did Last Summer. The Crow.
Casper's on that list. Classic.
The Crow, which is, I think, a movie that just has more. It's not a good movie, but it just has the vibes and the aesthetic. The vibes in terms of like the presence of the Crow is a bigger deal than the actual movie of the Crow.
That's fine. Sometimes the lead character is better than the movie.
Yeah. Godfather Part 3, terrible. Dumb and Dumber, never seen it from start to finish.
It's cool.
Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Guy Ritchie's debut. It's all right. But Snatch and everything else after is way better. Little Rascals, never seen Little Rascals from start to finish.
Little Rascals is a phenomenal movie. It's a classic.
Yeah. Batman and Robin, god awful.
Classic. Stop.
Mars Attacks, never seen it. Fuck Tim
It was
Burton.
all right.
LA Confidential.
That was Tim Burton?
Good. Yep.
Yeah. Might have changed.
LA Confidential, that's good. Jerry Maguire, great. Edward Scissorhands, like I just said, fuck Tim Burton.
There you go. Because I don't like that movie.
Toy Story, phenomenal. The Fugitive, it's all-time scene. I don't kill my wife.
I don't care.
I don't care. Which then spawns the great sequel, U.S. Marshals, also in the 90s. The Fugitive, I want every outhouse, in-house, doghouse, and hen house. But we are going to find this man. Batman Returns, Armageddon. I don't want to close my eyes. Armageddon, terrible movie. God awful.
No, that was a great movie. That soundtrack was horrible.
The song is 100 million times better.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
What didn't you like about Armageddon? Because I could tell you that movie scene for scene.
How much you only like the Eddie Griffin part in the beginning? That's it. With him and his dog.
No, I didn't. I like the whole movie. He tried to tell that he was trying to save his daughter from Ben Affleck. That sounds like a winner to
teach oil drillers how to drill. I mean, how to go to space. You can teach astronauts how to drill. Like I just sent you that clip. Ben Affleck was right. Like this movie doesn't make any sense. And Michael Bay's like, "Shut up, Ben. Shut up. Just shut up." But remember,
if I'm not mistaken, they sent actual goddamn astronauts up there, and they got smoked by the asteroid before they even got up there.
They made that movie, I think, in 4 weeks or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The production was no, but they were racing. They were trying to race against Deep Impact to get out first. That's why.
Mm-hmm.
The Sandlot, great kids movie, classic. Yeah, him outrunning a dog. At the end, like that's their kind of, and the Friday, grab it, and then I choke the shit out. And then hit the thing. Don't bit my ass. Galaxy Quest, never seen it. Stargate,
phenomenal.
Hercules, the animated Hercules,
great.
Groundhog Day, My Girl. Like the movie where he gets killed by the bees is how everyone remembers that movie.
I'm not supposed to laugh at that shit.
Apollo 13 kind of overrated to me. Deep Blue Sea. It is what it is.
Classic.
Classic. LL Cool J says, "Take me back to the ghetto." It's all I care about at the end. Blade, one of your favorites. Event Horizon, never seen it.
Good.
Wild Things. Wild Things is Denise Richards. Like, okay. All right. And then it's like, this is a poor Basic Instinct. That's Enemy of the State. Actually, a pretty good Will Smith movie.
Mm-hmm. That was
My Cousin. Right? Yes, that was. Yeah. My Cousin Vinny, Marissa Tomei. Mm-hmm. And Joe Pesci with the two of yous and grits. What are grits? Obviously the Mighty Ducks, all three of them, phenomenal. I could go one day. I'll do an episode about how the Mighty Ducks trilogy is the best thing, the best sports movie story ever told. but I'll save that for a later episode. Double Jeopardy. Shouts to goddamn, Tommy Lee Jones. Before we wrap up, he tells Ashley Judd when she tries to run it, he's like, "You fucking idiot." The way he delivers that line has just lived in my head since I've watched that movie. I saw the movie probably once, but I rewound that scene like 100 times because he's just like, "What were you thinking? You fucking idiot." Anytime I see anything, someone do something, I just think of that. True Lies, The Craft, Friday, Natural Born Killers. I mean, again, we can go on and on, but we're gonna wrap up soon. Just trying to find a few more. Deep Impact, The Last Boy Scout, The Night Before Christmas, which again, any woman in my life who I want to be with just loves that movie. So
Yeah, you gotta figure something else different, brother. That
no,
movie is
it's
putting the hex on you.
Liar Liar,
Classic.
Mrs. Doubtfire. Hello.
Classic. I can keep on saying classic because these movies are in fact classic.
The Mask of Zorro, classic. Yes, phenomenal.
Is that the one? Raphael, let me hold her. You, Antonio Banderas.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Anthony Hopkins playing a Spaniard when he is a white man from England, but he puts on the tanner, the mustache, and he's like, Zorro. If you want now, Zorro.
If you want to keep it a buck, Kaleno Alvarez is an example. But let's move on.
Yeah, Desperado. Again, I shouted that out in our action movie draft. Happy Gilmore just said that earlier. Bug's Life. Bug's Life's probably my favorite Pixar movie after Toy Story.
Really?
Yeah. Circus performers. You didn't tell me you were circus performers.
I had that game on PlayStation 1 and I saw the movie, which is fun.
Boys in the Hood. Phenomenal shot. R.I.P. John Singleton. What did you say a couple weeks ago about Ricky?
Oh, he should have zigzagged.
Yeah. I know. Again, that's the Vince
He
Staples.
didn't run no routes.
Same
man.
shotgun that shot Ricky. Should have zigzagged. The Doors. Mulan, like I said. We can just keep going on. Last Action Hero, you had that on the action movie draft. Sister Act. I've seen Sister Act once. But yeah, I think we're about to wrap it up now because Mallrats. Again, shouts to all the Kevin Smith movies. We had Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma. I was almost going to pick Clerks, but I prefer Clerks 2 over Clerks. But the first one is phenomenal. But shouts to all of Kevin Smith for making those 4 movies in the 90s. Those are all really good movies.
Absolutely.
The Iron Giant. Yeah. George of the Jungle.
Van Diesel.
Face Off, as we had mentioned. But
Movie stink. A bunch of doves.
Movie stinks. Bunch of doves. No, he's right. That movie was terrible.
Oh, it took him for Jim Norton to say that. To be like,
you said you completely changed my mind. Jim Norton's like, no, that says a lot about you. I can't trust you now. Like, if you change your opinion just like that. But thanks. Let's wrap it up. We can go on. But you know what? If you're free tomorrow, maybe we'll go on Spaces after people have heard the episode. After the episode goes live for a few hours and talk about some movies that we missed and maybe interact with the people, the fans, the listeners, the supporters of the show.
We definitely got to send that to Van. Because Van, you know what I mean? He know the movies just like us, and whoever knows about the movies. But yeah. As usual, follow me at VBD Pod. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube at Banks versus Davis as we get ready for our anniversary. You do not want to miss that because we potentially might be going live. Tell a friend, like, subscribe. We're available, as you see at the bottom, on your preferred streaming platform as well.
Yes, and we did 90s movies this week. As we said, the 90s are just stacked with all sorts of movies. We could have going on and on. If we didn't pick 10 ourselves, we could just list the movies. But I think next week, we'll just say it now, 90s music. Banks will be in his bag because there was so much during that. And I do have an appreciation for 90s music because when they play that station at work, that's my favorite station they play. And you get a sort of everything from every genre. But so at 90s week. And then, like you said, we alluded to earlier, John Cena appreciation. The GOAT will be recognized 2 weeks from now. Follow me on Twitter at DavisAKDrip, Instagram Davis Colton DC. Support, our friends of the show who, we'll shout out when we get to in 2 weeks from now on the year anniversary. And you all know it, Black and Out, Public Enemies, Black Wrestling, Show Your Work, people that have been guests on the show and before and hopefully again. But yeah, thank you for supporting the show. So watch or subscribe anywhere you can, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Twitter at the BBD Pod as well. Most importantly, subscribe. Recommend if you like the show and you think someone in your life might like the show as well.
Absolutely.
Until then, see you next week. Peace.